Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I'm on the GDC channel. I didn't really want to do this on my own channel, my main channel at least. This is kind of the channel that we use for community type things. And the loss of our friend is definitely something that is communal, something that affected our entire community. And this is why I think that it needs to be addressed of what has been going on with somebody who is using the death of our friend as a weapon. I'm going to go over what this person has been saying, and contrary to a few people, I believe that it needs to be nipped in the bud ASAP. I believe that this type of behavior is unacceptable from anybody. I believe that this person is a sociopath, my opinion, not a medical diagnosis, but if you want to look up what a sociopath is, they tick all the boxes. And anybody who supports him, I think, is probably a sociopath as well. And so I'm going to go through this in my own way. I have a few people in Discord. You're welcome to join. If you are not a member of the Discord, you'll come in server muted. And if I don't know who you are, you'll probably stay that way or be deafened or be kicked. But if you are a member, and I do know who you are, then you're welcome to join in and talk and give your feedback on here. This, again, is something that affected the entire community. And so I think as a community, everybody should be able to join in and discuss the morally reprehensible actions that we've seen from a particular individual who has been using the loss of our friend as a weapon against us, which is something that I think that even the most vile and detestable people that I've ran across on the internet, even some of them probably wouldn't have stooped to this degree. But I will not give them any credit because I don't know that for sure. I think that most of them probably, if not all of them, would stoop to this. I think that they happen to realize that the backlash from this person doing this outweighs any kind of benefit they get from trying to slandering us or trying to attack our credibility or attack our channels. So I'm not going to give any credit for that whatsoever. But to give you a little history with this gentleman, Robert Baty, he supposedly made a name for himself because he was so brilliant to discover. Well, he didn't even discover; he just argued that Ken Hovind did some tax evasion stuff well after the fact. I mean, brilliant deduction, even though he was in jail for 10 years, almost 10 years of it. And I happened to know the guy because I had Kent Hovind on my channel a few times. And I was in a group with him, and somebody had made a claim that I had said that Naval Nuclear Power School was the equivalent of a PhD, which absolutely is nonsensical. Nobody's ever heard me say that. I would never say anything even remotely of the sort. And so I said to him, as the admin, the owner of the group, how do you allow things like this nature in your group? I run the Great Debate Community on Facebook, and people just cannot put unsupported accusations out there. They need to back it up with something. This has been a long-standing thing that we've all agreed to. When we joined a lot of groups, not just Facebook groups, not just GDC, but in most groups, they don't allow people to slander people and without evidence. And so I had asked about this, and his brilliant retort was this: well, either you did or you didn't. Yeah, I'm not even joking. That was his brilliant retort. And I'm so because I might have, you're gonna not call this out. You're not gonna take this down because logically either I did or I didn't, which is that's your brilliant argumentation. And he wouldn't. And so I left the group, and this was all in about 10 minutes. And he has stalked me ever since, literally supporting Kyle from from the NonSequitur show the entire time, saying that service was improper. He had blogs on saying service was improper. He would go on other people's shows saying service was improper. Found out, of course, he was wrong. The judge did say service was proper, as we all knew. We all said service was going to be proper. I've been saying this for day one. I had no doubt in my mind service was proper because I read the law, and the law was clear on that. But of course, Robert Baty wanted to try to slander me, and so he supported the person who stole the channel, all right, and stole the money.
Checking 1, 2, 3.
Yes, but you're very loud.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Give me a sec.
Okay. But hi, Manya.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing. Here's the thing. When we do these things, we have to weigh the pros and cons of, do you give somebody exposure? Do you let them know that what they said affected you? And normally, 95% of the time, I don't. Right. I mean, it rolls off my back because I'm so used to it. I'm numb. Nothing really phases me. But when you involve my friends and people that I love and I care about, that's a different story. And when I see this type of unethical behavior, I have no choice but to address it. And I'm sorry if there's people
Is it better now?
You're still loud. Just, but
Okay, give me a sec.
see right there, you're fine though.
Oh, this is fine?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll do that.
So like I said, I'm gonna go through this blog a little bit. I don't know how far I'm gonna get into it. I will tell you, it is vile. It is disgusting. It is morbid. It is ethically reprehensible. It is everything you could possibly imagine that you would imagine from somebody who is the mind of a sociopath. It looks like it's been done on what was it? MySpace or no, before MySpace they had what was it? GeoCities. That's what it was. It's very poorly done. And it looks like a very disturbed individual. And I want people to evaluate it fairly, to look at it and think to themselves, is this person somebody that I would consider to be a sociopath? I think so. If you don't, that's fine. I'm making the argument that I think that he is. But again, my opinion. But I'm going to turn the viewers off because it's not working right. We have 3 times what it's showing, and I don't know why it's not updating. But I want people to share this, and I want people to be aware of this kind of behavior, because that's what we've been doing for ages on Caffeine Corner. Cheshire and I have been showing people behaviors and how to spot behaviors. And I don't see it any different when we have a real-life application of when we would apply the standards of unethical behavior and sociopathy and narcissism and all these other behaviors that we see repeated by a certain group of people that have no ethical standing whatsoever. And all they want to do is harm people, and they will use any means to do so. So I know we got a lot of people in the Discord here. Say anything you want before we get started here. If you got anything to add, I'm not going to call anybody out specific, but if you want to join the Discord, it is in the video description and the live chat. So come on in. It is the GDC Discord. And by the way, you know it's pretty serious when I use Discord, because everybody who knows me knows that I literally detest Discord. That's not just me saying that. I actually hate Discord with a burning passion. But I dislike this dude even more. So,
well, it's always serious when Mr. Serious is here.
Yeah, you know, shit got real when you show up, right?
Hell yeah. Well, I know
the
this.
last time you guys were on a stream together was when Jim Hall lost his shit, and Steve was like, "Oh man, I might have fucked up," and this Mr. Sears was like, "Yeah, you might have fucked up."
And I didn't block him after that.
Of course.
I mean, he's here. I'm not happy to be here talking about this nonsense.
Yeah, and I don't expect people should be happy. I don't want people to be happy. I want people to be outraged. I want people to be upset. I want people to recognize this type of behavior and never allow it to ever happen, and to call it out when they see it. Now, I see people coming in. I'll get to you because I know a lot of people come in server muted. So let me. Go ahead.
I have some disclaimers that I have to say before you start, though.
Yes.
I've dealt with Baty before, and he is the equivalent of, let's say you're out in a playground, like as kids, and you're playing with somebody and they're being rough and they're like hitting you. And then like you playfully like shove them a little tiny bit, and then they scream and cry and bawl and tell their parents.
Well, yeah, he's playing victim. Yeah, I mean, you could actually, when we go through this, you'll see he's playing the victim, right? I mean, he's the one that decided to do this. Nobody was talking about this. We had respected the wishes of the family and other people, and we were not going to make this into a spectacle on losing a friend. But when he does something as just unbelievable as this, I think it is acceptable to say something about it. And then go, and then let it, we're done at that point. But then let people recognize that behavior and go from there, because people do have revisionism. People rewrite history, and I want this on video. So hopefully he'll eventually take this down. But let's assume that he doesn't. There's a history of it, and people go back and they can say, "Look, this is what this person has done."
Yeah, if I may, and the purpose is to be able to educate people so that they can recognize this behavior. And giving pushback to someone on this kind of behavior is not harassment.
Oh, not even close. Not even
Not at
remotely
all.
so. Yeah.
No. And yes, people come back with different degrees of pushback. We have seen that. That's why we are doing it here in a civil manner. That's why I did not respond to Baty at all in his tweets, because one, they were too disgusting, and I did not want to give like any credit to
Right.
him
Right.
at all.
I
Or
totally
any
agree with that,
consideration.
by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, so recognize the behavior and recognize that it's okay to be upset by this kind of behavior. And yes, we can choose on how to respond to this kind of behavior. And that's what we are doing. And we are explaining why it's wrong. And that's not harassment.
I completely agree. I absolutely completely agree. I mean,
Yeah.
you cannot do something to this degree when you're going out of your way to cause harm, and using a death to slander people and libel people and to harm people is just unconscionable. I mean, this to me, and I think it's sociopathy, but again, there's an argument to be made that it's psychopathy, or somebody who is a real psychopath. There's degrees of difference. A psychopath has a conscience, or doesn't have a conscience, but a sociopath does, but it's minimal.
Well, yeah, I might be committing a fallacy here when I may say that what reason could there be to speculate,
None.
about someone's passing away?
No.
Let me just finish. To
It's
speculate about someone's
self-serving.
passing.
It's self-serving.
It's self-serving.
Yeah.
And then when people give you pushback and actually point out that yes, they are being self-serving and they're being selfish, to cry victim.
But that's what he was trying to do. That's his goal, right?
Yes.
That's why
he
nobody's.
tried
That's
to
why.
do that.
That's why nobody's been engaging with him on Twitter. People have
Well,
blocked him.
Yes.
It's a bait,
Yes.
right? He
Exactly.
he tried to use the situation to bait Steve, because
Yes.
but probably specifically Steve, to be honest. Just in the way a lot of this is worded and the way this was handled, this whole thing was a bait to get Steve to react to him, which luckily Steve didn't fall for, so he could start some other big blow up, because his whole problem is that Steve left his stupid fucking Facebook group, and then after trying to have a conversation with him on Twitter, Steve was like, okay, I'm done talking with this person, this is pointless, and Steve blocked him. And so you've had him blocked ever since, pretty much, haven't you? Until you unblocked everybody off of everything?
Yeah, but I blocked him relatively quickly after that.
Well, yeah, that's no surprise.
But I mean, here's the thing: I cannot be the only person to have blocked people. Why is it that people like dedicate their entire lives to me after I tell them I don't want to have anything to do with you? You are a piece of crap to me. I will block you. Do not talk to me.
They're entitled.
But I'm not the only one that blocks them. Why don't they go after other people that block them?
Well, I can make another guess. They are so not in control in their real life, and they want to get some sense of control. And this is how they achieve it.
Oh, I think you're right. No, I definitely agree. I mean, Rez has made that very same argument, and I think he's absolutely right on that. They want control, but again, I'm not the only person who has blocked these people. I'm not the only one out there that has been raising my voice against them for the things they have done. So, I mean, I'm flattered that they spend so much time in some capacity thinking that I'm the boogeyman, right, as opposed to anybody else. But it is weird. It's straight up weird. It makes no sense, because there are people out there that do a lot worse to them than I do. I just ignore them. I just block them. I don't even talk about them. And I'm the one that they seem to go after.
There is reason to be skeptical in some circumstances over some things when a death is involved. This is just not one of them. And it's bizarre to jump to these kinds of conclusions. But the reason he's doing it is because for some reason he wants to frame the community, everybody, not just Steve, community, as somehow being responsible for this. And even if that were the case, even if Boole did commit suicide, it still wouldn't be our fault. It would, and to dare imply and say that and try to frame it that that would be the case, even if it were true, is horrendous.
Yeah, and
Well,
I would
that
never,
would
I would
go
never
in
let,
defamation and libel and slander, wouldn't it?
well, superficially. But I mean, here's the thing: I would never let that affect my mind. I know Dave better than anybody, except for a handful of people.
Of course.
And so I would never in my life think that I had responsibility for what.
No, and
you know.
nobody should.
And-
If any of us, if that were to happen, this community cares so much about everybody who's a part of it that if anything, I've seen this community pull together over so much stuff, including this. When Moon found out about her cancer situation, when Reds needed a car, when anything that's gone on with Boole when he needed to move, anything that's gone on. Oh hell, even the death threats towards Moon when we initially were like, okay, let's not deal with these people anymore. The community cared enough about us to be like, listen, this is clearly bad for you guys on either an emotional level, on a stress level, on whatever level. It's dangerous for you. Yeah, don't talk about these people anymore. If it's bad for you, don't do it. And so how many messages have we gotten where we've affected somebody's lives in some kind of positive manner because they're watching our shows when they're having a hard time, particularly during the Covfefe thing.
A number.
This
Yeah.
community is so positive and so yeah, things get contentious at times, and yeah,
We lift
you get
each
beef.
other up.
Well, you
We
get
always
beef
try to
between
lead.
people sometimes, but yeah, if you're
Sometimes,
being but at the end of the day, nobody's religiously going after anybody in the way that this is being framed. And realistically, there is no, even if it were the case, that it's just completely demonstrated over years that this community has been around that in no way could they ever be responsible for something like that.
Agreed.
And they shouldn't ever feel that they have been.
Yep, I completely agree with that. So let's kind of, I don't know if you guys can watch the outside. I could share this inside. Would that work? If I can share this.
Yes, please. I'm on my phone.
See, but here's the
you
thing.
can
When I hit screen
Right.
share, it wants me to go live from the internal Discord, and I don't know why it started doing that.
That's the way Discord works now. They just changed the phrasing of it. It just means people can go in and out. It's basically so you can
Okay. Oh, okay.
stream.
Okay. So I'm not actually
Yeah,
going
it's
live
stream-
on my channel because I am actually live already. on my
Right,
channel.
yeah, exactly. It
See,
goes
I hate
live
Discord.
in internal Discord, so that way people can show each other's streams in a group. It didn't used to work in a group like this. You'd have to do a separate call to do it. Now you can do it just straight from whatever Discord room you're in within your own Discord.
All right. Thank you. It makes sense to me now. All right. So this is Robert's webpage, and if you look at some of the higher stuff on here, he actually has like Steve McRae and Kyle Curvis service. He talks about the service being improper, which he got blatantly wrong. He didn't know what the hell he was talking about. Go figure. And he thinks he's some kind of like thorn in the side of Ken Hovind. Ken Hovind doesn't give a crap about this dude. So I don't know what his issue
Why
is.
would he? He's clearly not having any kind of effect.
None. Zero. He's nobody. I mean, his whole thing is, can't violate a tax laws. No kidding. He went to jail for almost 10 years. I think people recognize this. Have you ever seen this guy Baty go into any kind of discussion about biology and explain why Kent's wrong, going from a biological or a physics or any kind of scientific thing? No, he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He's a nobody. But he does things like this because he wants the attention. Okay, he's got the attention because people will realize that this type of behavior is unacceptable for anybody. This is somebody who, in my opinion, is a true sociopath. All right. So he starts off about going into David's history. When he was born, when he passed away, which was December 26th. And he starts going into his background. And he says, it is variously reported in social media that David Michael Fulton, a.k.a. Booleanenator, died on December 26, 2020, unattended in his residence. For reasons unknown, what normally might have been expected has yet to be reported, i.e. funeral announcements, obituary, cause of death, results of autopsy, etc. Who the hell are you, Robert, to have any right to know about the death of somebody in their family? This is not public information. If they don't want it to be public information, you have no entitlement to this. And there was a formal statement We do know the cause of death. I'm not going to make it public. I will say it is natural causes because that's been released. And if people are close to David and they want to know, they can come to us in private. Why? Because people that were friends with him, I think David, would understand them wanting to know. But you were not a friend of David.
Well, that's the thing. That would have been the appropriate thing to do. If he wanted to write about this, or like as a reasonable person, if he wanted to write a blog being like, hey, this happened, and inform people what was going on his end, or people who follow him, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with doing that. It still might have been inappropriate and might have been in poor taste due to his behavior in the past, but it's nothing that I don't think anybody would get. The people would get mildly annoyed, but that would be
whatever.
Yeah, it would be like, this is kind of in poor taste, but whatever, moving on.
Right.
However, the appropriate way to do that would have been to actually, one, do any kind of research whatsoever. It's not like the streams that Bull was on are gone. You could still learn about him from watching him. So that all exists. He could have reached out to any of us except maybe Steve. Like, I don't have him blocked. I still don't have him blocked because I haven't bothered. But he could have messaged. He could have messaged a good number of us. He could have reached out in any capacity whatsoever to be like, hey, listen, I'm really confused about this and what had got on, and I have a couple of questions. And, we're not unreasonable people. One of us may have entertained him if he was, not being an asshole.
I don't think he cared. I mean, that was not the point. Yeah, that wasn't a point at all, right?
Yeah.
And so
this is that gif of that's bait.
That's bait. I had people just recently, as even of today, I had 2 people, as a matter of fact, message me saying, do you know about the funeral arrangements and stuff like that? And honestly, I do not. I could get that information, but I haven't asked for it yet. In fact, I don't. Jess, have we discussed any of that? Because I haven't brought.
Nope.
Yeah,
we haven't discussed it at all. This guy is making this before the funeral arrangements.
Yeah, I mean, we don't. Right, exactly.
Made.
I mean, so it's like
he
passed away a week ago.
Entitlement. It's not even just entitlement to the information. It's entitlement to whatever time frame he arbitrarily decided works for him. Person that is a stranger on the internet and is honestly just a creepy old man with too much time, retired old man that has too much time on his hands.
I think that's an understatement. All right.
I would even speculate that if it's exactly that person in the picture, even. Do we know that?
Quite frankly, I would not also be surprised if he's going. So from my understanding of what I've heard about this person in a little bit more of their, like, how they kind of handle themselves in general, they're usually the times when they disappear off of going after Steve or Hogan tends to be when their family is visiting, and with Covfefe being the way that it is, I'm concerned that maybe this person is spiraling a little bit more out of control than normal because they're cooped up and can't see anybody who might otherwise help them get away from the computer, or get away from, or it's also possible that, how old is this guy? Because as you get older, sometimes your brain tends to start having issues. So that could also be the case.
It's not.
I don't know. I'm trying to give charity.
But I don't want to speculate on that.
It definitely doesn't excuse anything.
No, not remotely. The only mental health thing I'll speculate on is I think that he is a sociopath. He ticks every box. I mean, the amount of OCD stuff.
I'm just trying to play a little bit of devil's advocate that maybe there's more going on in his personal life that we don't know about.
Yeah, it's possible.
As Steve said, it can't be a reason. It can't be an excuse for his behavior. Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr.
Yes, and why I want to say that we could be very, very sorry for where this behavior comes from. We still don't excuse this behavior. We still want to make an example of this behavior.
I can tell you right now, and this is what differentiates people that are sociopathic and have kind of psychopathy. I'm an emotional person when it comes to my friends. I have empathy. I put myself in other people's positions frequently to say, how would this affect me if I was in that situation? I have the ability to do so. There are certain people, however, that do not deserve my sympathies, do not deserve my empathy. They will not have it. Jesus forgives, I do not. And I've made that very clear. That's not that. So it isn't the case that I have any kind of tendency towards sociopathy whatsoever. I can be very emotional. I can love very strongly. I can care about people very much so. I just think there are certain people that are not deserving of it. And that's just my personal philosophical viewpoint. Everybody has their own moral code. My moral code is there are people that are unredeemable. He is one of them. So he doesn't get any, I don't care what his reasoning are, whether there's an actual physical causation for his sociopathy. Well, okay, I'll say this, because I have to be fair. If there was an underlying physical condition that made him this way, I would at least be more tolerant. Does that make sense?
Like a brain tumor?
Yes.
You'd be like a little bit more maybe a more understanding and more gentle in how you might approach the situation.
Yeah, I would have no choice.
And I think that's I think that's reasonable,
Okay.
but we have no way of knowing that.
Right. It's just hypothetical.
The behavior would still be unacceptable either way. So, like I said, if there was something going on with his personal life, or Kofefe is keeping him from his family for all we know, or he has a brain tumor for all we fucking know. The thing is that we're still not responsible to cater to his fucking arbitrary bullshit.
That's the point.
We aren't his friends. We're not the ones who are in any kind of position to take care of him or be considerate outside of the fact that he's a human being. Yeah,
you're exactly right. You're exactly right. That's I don't even know how to even add more to that, because I would, obviously have a little bit more understanding, but as you said, we have no onus or responsibility
it's his family and his friends
Yes.
and his groups of people that should be the ones taking care of him over something like this. If he's upset, if he's got some kind of issue or whatever underlying thing there is, or if he's just being a vindictive prick. I wouldn't let Steve get away with doing this shit. If I saw Steve even starting to do something like this, I would literally fly my ass to California so I could hit him.
But it wouldn't even cross my mind. I mean,
No, of course
we've had deaths in the community before, and
let's say Steve had a brain tumor and suddenly decided that he thought doing something like this was a good idea. I would fly my ass to California and be like, okay, listen,
You'd excise
we're gonna
it.
sit down. We're gonna sit down and we're gonna have a chat. We're gonna go to the local coffee shop. We're gonna sit down. We're gonna order beer at the coffee shop, and we're gonna talk for a couple minutes.
She's gonna take a scalpel out and just excise the tumor.
Yes.
But whenever there's been,
I'm gonna go trauma center all up in this shit.
Whenever there's been a death, I haven't said anything. It's other people, and we'll get into those things another time. But this is not the first time something like this has happened. Let's just say that. But let me continue with the blog. Unconfirmed.
Oh yeah, we know.
Yeah, people are aware, but it's not the right video for that. There will be a video on that eventually, but it won't be from me.
A time and a place.
A time and a place. Unconfirmed details indicate. And I don't understand. Okay, this even starts off unconfirmed details. It's already accusatory. Unconfirmed
Speculation.
Yeah, that he was a disabled
No
veteran.
references. Nothing.
There are people that I know that knew Dave personally. He was a confirmed disabled veteran. To say otherwise, even to question that, I think is despicable. It is dishonorable. It is, in my opinion, going after a veteran. Then he says, was autistic, only recently diagnosed about 5 years ago, suffered from seizures, and had a, quote, service dog. Why in quotes? Why is that in quote? I mean, we actually had people making arrangements to pick up a Dexter.
That's why it's in quotes. Because we've been trying to help make arrangement for Dexter. That's why it's in quotes. It's because we're involved in helping Dexter. He has to question whether or not Dexter is a service dog or not.
He was
legit
trained, but he was a legit trained service dog because he had seizures. Yes. I mean, this is beyond disgusting and despicable. He recently withdrew from social media. I don't
recall that happening.
I don't either. Yeah, I mean, did he not still produce Caffeine Corner for us? Did he not still do?
I don't even recall. His last message was a public Merry Christmas to everybody. So I don't know where that came from.
I have no idea.
His last message was less than 10 hours from his death.
Yeah,
right.
I still see his last message to me on Gmail and G+, and don't think it doesn't bother me. but it's still comforting in a way.
I bookmarked
You
it.
know, I mean, because I want to see it. You know, I want to see it, but it still hurts like hell because I know I'll never get another one on there. He recently withdrew from social media in his quote farewell, quote unfarewell, indicating he may have problems with depression or other mental illness. Where?
When?
What?
Where did that happen? Why is there not a
Let me-
screenshot of
Reference,
this?
please.
Let me-
Citation, please. For
Again,
fucking hell.
again, as somebody who knows David very well, Dave would call me up at all hours, and not because he was depressed. It's just because of the Kofefe and just wanted to talk and just say, hey, we would just have a hangout, right? And just talk, him and I.
You mean friends call each other and just chill sometimes?
I mean-
when they're bored?
I
Weird.
saw what he was referring to with that quote unquote farewell thing. He was
Oh yeah,
talking
please
about
inform us.
yeah, he was talking about Bull's videos where he's like, my one and done on Kyle's on the non-sequitur case.
Well, that's because he was
Those
moving into the new
things.
year. Yeah, he was.
Oh my god, that had nothing to do.
How-
Holy.
Yeah.
Oh.
The mental
no.
gymnastics on that is beyond my comprehension. This is a
This is-
poor critical
this is-
thinker.
Okay, my
Oh.
okay, let me be the devil's advocate here. Okay. It's maybe for some people, it's you know, they can perceive stuff as something else. You know, he thought, oh, this guy is saying his pheromones, right? But how about going on about and confirming it?
Yeah, I mean,
How about
good point.
just
Before,
listening to
you know-
it? Because nothing of that was like, I'm done
Did
with the
he-
community or I'm done with this. It was, he just wanted to post one video about that one topic
And be done with it.
because people were launching questions at him.
Yes, and he was doing videos with Tina on specific things, going into the history of the Non-Sequitur show. He did about 2 or 3 videos with her. By the way, great videos. Go watch them. On Tina, I'll cut you. And he was very happy to do those videos. He wanted them to get them done and out of the way. And going into 2021, didn't want to have to go revisit this all the time. He wanted, hey, here's a video, go watch it, and it explains everything.
He did one video on his own channel about it. That's what he's referring to, because he didn't want to do another video on his own channel about it. He would still talk to people about it, but he didn't want to have to necessarily do that because he did other stuff.
Yeah. All right. He was well. Go ahead. He was well known by.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to reiterate my point. Okay, maybe he got it wrong, but did he confirm it? Did he go about trying to confirm it? Did he even try reaching out to Boole?
No, he didn't. Again, he doesn't care about any of this. These are just are just emotional hand grenades. That's all he's trying to do.
Yeah,
Emotional
that's
hand
what I'm
grenades.
saying. Like, the intention behind such speculations is quite clear and evident,
Yes,
just in the first few lines.
of course. It sets the tone for the entire thing. Again,
Yeah.
written very poorly. He was well known by a social media community, quote community. By the way, that'd be us, I guess. With which
Why is that in quotes? What,
I don't know.
Are we really going to get into the semantics of what constitutes a community?
I don't know what other meaning of the word it could possibly be. We are a community. I mean, it is a community.
Flying fuck.
I don't know. With which he was associated and was employed in the production of various YouTube broadcasts. And this was updated January 3rd.
Okay, so believe it or not every show that Boole worked on was necessarily part of the same groups.
Oh, yeah, absolutely not. Yeah.
So he's also wrong about that. Like this guy is confidently incorrect.
Yes. All right, so he shows the obituary. I'm not going to go ahead and read any of that, but he shows that. And then he says, as some kind of disclaimer, the views expressed in this article are not contrary to what is reported in the official obituary noted above. All things considered, it is not unreasonable to suspect Dave's death might have been the result of suicide. Yes, it actually is unreasonable when you have actually no evidence whatsoever to even think about that, more or less try to make the narrative that it happened that way.
So he
just said that these people are saying these things, and this matches these things. But I'm gonna go off and speculate anyway, cause it's reasonable, cause I say so. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like he starts off on a fallacious premise, and then he starts building up on that, expecting that no one will recognize that his premise was fallacious. Like, come on. How dumb are you?
Reportedly, you know, it even sounds, you know, like, okay, that didn't really happen that way, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He's not like he's a journalist, right? Reportedly, he was found deceased in his apartment, after which his, quote, creepy, profane online, quote, community associated with one Steve McRae, that would be me, embarked on various campaigns.
Profane. Are you mad that we say the word fuck? What an old man.
I guess so.
Hey,
is that what he's worried about? Profanity?
Fuckity fuck,
I'm
fuck,
like,
fuckity fuck.
we're the only
fuck,
people on the
penis.
internet that have cursed.
Penis,
I mean,
penis,
for God's
penis,
sake.
Penis.
Embarked on various campaigns in response to public interest as to the details, not even wanting to mention David's name out of respect, preferring his online identification as Booleanenator because that was his professional title. Booleanenator. That's what he went by.
I have a question. If Baty did enough quote unquote research to know that Boole had underlying health issues, why would it make any sense to jump to suicide?
I don't know. And he doesn't even put in here who found him, where he was found, any of the details, and he's not privy to any of them anyways, because obviously he doesn't know, and he's probably will never know, and I don't care whether he finds out or not, but the point is we have no onus to explain to him anything. None.
I feel like this guy is just trying to play like he's a journalist, and he's trying to play like he's some kind of neutral party, but the whole thing this is bait. It's
completely bait. But here's the thing. I am convinced, and I mean this very sincerely, that if we don't address this now and have this out there, and then never bother with it again, hopefully, let other people point it out. Let other people look at this. Let other people shut him down. And we don't even have to bother with it any longer. But people can at least recognize this by behavior. If it happens again in any type of situation, then they'll be able to see that kind of pattern.
I know it might be finding a needle in a stack of needles, but he makes a big deal out of us calling him Bull. His online community identifying him by his online name.
Yeah,
like, why is that a big deal?
I don't use Cheshire's real name very often. I have before, and I'll do it in private. And she's people know her real name, right? But I call her Chesh.
Yeah, my name's out there. People can use my. I don't particularly care if people. My favorite is the number of people that spell my name. So every so often, one of these people will use my name as an intimidation tactic to be like, "Oh, I know what your name is," and it's like you spelt it wrong. You spell it wrong almost every time. It's hilarious.
It loses its impact when it's like, "Yeah, I know who you are," and I spell your name wrong.
I feel really bad for the poor lady that they doxed who lives in Toronto because they spent a bunch of time spamming a dox of not me. I'm like, oh, this poor woman.
That whole group is infamous for that kind of stuff. But anyways, all right, so many, if not most, of the, quote, creepy, profane members, and by the way, he's talking about all you people, I guess. Anybody who watches this, all you guys are creepy.
Profane, yeah, he got one thing right.
If that's what he means by profane
we
could
swear.
Be, well, profane doesn't necessarily have to mean swearing.
Wait,
so I don't know what.
Did you skip a paragraph?
I'm sorry, I did. You're correct. In questioning the facts of the case, okay, I, Robert Baty, and others become targets of the Steve McRae quote community via various Twitter accounts. Examples will be added below. Again, that's
he didn't
vague.
ask any questions. That's not what happened.
Did he say we?
I don't know. I haven't blocked. But in addition, a number of YouTube videos were broadcast pretending to memorialize the Booleanenator. Pretending to memorialize.
What? Pretending?
You mean so what? He didn't actually die? I mean, people didn't actually have words to say about somebody they cared about and loved? What the fuck does that even mean?
This is projection. That's what this is. He is using this to get numbers. Therefore, we were using this to get numbers.
What is that? But again, I don't even understand that rationalization. How the fuck are you going to make it on YouTube by one, utilizing somebody's death, and two, what the fuck do they think we make out of this shit? You don't fucking become rich having a fucking YouTube channel, having the type of content that we have. We barely make enough to survive. But we do because of the generosity of the people that like the content that we put out. So what the fuck does he think we have that will let us go out of our way to try to utilize a death of somebody we love in order to somehow benefit from it. What is the fucking benefit?
Well, he's the one trying to benefit.
Oh, yes,
Well-
yes. But, I mean, do you see my point, though? I mean, his whole narrative is such absolute bullshit.
Probably the most offensive part about this is he's referring to this as his memorial to Booleanenator.
Oh, yeah, that's just... That's just
that's
fucking
offensive.
yeah, that's beyond.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds
offensive,
me
yeah.
of something a little bit earlier where he's talking about like public inquiry as to the facts or something like that.
Mhm.
The only one trying to make a public inquiry was him.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's true. I didn't see anybody really asking for any details, and the only people that did were doing so privately, which is perfectly fine. Like I said, people came to me and asked me questions. I didn't have answers to them, but the ones that I did, questions I did have, I did answer, and I did tell them certain things because they asked. But you know, I had a couple people ask me about, like they said, the funeral arrangements, and I have no details on that, and I was very open. I don't know.
Yeah, so one of the things that is actually, because God's auditor pointed out, makes a point. Baty didn't ask any of us. Most of us already had him blocked. So anybody remote, you think Red's rhetoric was going to talk to this guy?
Hell no.
Absolutely not.
No.
If he didn't already have him blocked, Steve already had him blocked. I didn't have him blocked, but he didn't reach out to me. So literally, none of the people he's complaining about not answering his
guy
questions he didn't
is-
ask.
Yeah. This guy took a screenshot of my account, right? On Twitter. So he knew I did not have him on block. So he could have come to me.
Yeah, that was one of the first things he did. He started questioning, and he started making what you had tweeted out accusatory.
Can we
I
go
don't
back
know
to
what I
that?
did. That was he took a screenshot of my homepage on Twitter, and I was like, "What are you trying to say?" He pointed out the
Manga
number
and
of
Brainy, yeah.
tweets.
I don't know. It's
Like
creepy.
he pointed out the number of tweets I had, and he kind of highlighted
Oh,
someone
I know what it
following
was.
me,
Oh,
and
He was
oh.
jealous because Peter Riley followed
No,
you.
I know what it was, Monty.
really?
Here's what it was. If I'm not mistaken, I think he was.
Go on.
Hang on. I think he was making the argument again. I'm going to try to steel man this because it's a shitty, fucking, ridiculous argument. But I think this is what he was going with this. He had shown how many tweets you've had, and he said something to the fact that you were supposed to be some kind of memorial account for Booleanenator, not recognizing you've had your account forever. All you did was change your name, like anybody fucking could do on Twitter. You just
No.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
like-
swear that.
No,
Think
he
about this.
didn't.
Think about this.
No.
He showed her tweet, and he said something along the lines of, "Oh, this is not some kind of new memorial account or something." I don't know the exact words, but it seemed to be, from what I can recall, was making the argument that this was not a memorial account. What is it you have in your account now? What do you say?
I say, "A bull, you will be missed." That's
Right.
my name. So according to him, I'm not doing enough in Bull's memory. Who the fuck made him in charge?
I think he thinks that that account was somehow newly created just for Booleanenator. Not
Yeah,
recognizing you can change the name.
It was weird veiled
But then
allegations.
that account had 10,000 tweets.
He pointed
Almost
to that.
11,000 tweets.
That was his argument. He's like, "Oh, look at this account. Has so many tweets. It's not some account that was dedicated to Bull." It's like that wasn't.
why
Nobody
did
claimed that it
he-
was.
Then why did he highlight Peter Riley following?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm still confused. Like,
So
what's
bizarre.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll tell you what. Giving props to Peter Riley. Peter Riley has backed the fuck off a lot and distanced himself from almost all these people. I've had emails, massive amount of emails corresponding to him, and he has been willing to edit and change and fix things and get the details right. I will give props for that. I will give credit where credit is due, and I think he has recognized that the sourcing he got for a lot of his articles was bullshit.
Well, okay, coming back to the topic, so he had access to people who knew Bull. So he did not bother to reach out to us at all.
Because he
Or
didn't care.
make even any attempt. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yes, I have a
either
question real quick
he's too stupid or he didn't
before we
care.
continue.
Yeah.
Pick one.
Go ahead, Mr. Rose.
Can we go back to that paragraph that we were just reading? I think we may have overthought this paragraph quite a bit, because I think that it's a lot stupider than we might think at first. I think that this is his attempt to kind of obfuscate his responsibility of this entire thing. Like he can point back to this and say, look at this. This is proof that I am memorializing Booleanenator, and this is proof that I called it, that you guys were going to come after me because I'm doing the right thing,
Oh, yeah,
and you
no, I
guys
agree
are the
with
bad
that.
guys.
That's the first part questionable, but the second part what you said, I do agree with. He wanted to play the victim. Absolutely.
There's a the thing is that there's a even if let's just do a hypothetical. Let's say that there was no history with Baty at all. Baty, whatever. There's no history with this guy. Steve never left his Facebook group. That none of he's not butthurt about that at all. Whatever. And he's just an outsider. This is not how you report on something
Correct.
like this. This is not how you do. This is not an appropriate way to handle and behave in this. This is so emotional. It's so vindictive. It's so petty and hateful. It's like this
Devoid
whole
of
thing is
facts.
just it's so dripping with fucking venom that it's like this is not how you handle anything like this in any regard whatsoever.
That's why I think he's a sociopath.
This is like the opposite of, what's the word? Sorry, if you want to remember someone. This is not the way you do it.
First of all, why would he care anyways? He was not friends with David.
You would
Well, he didn't know anything about
even
him.
if you as a stranger came in, even if there were a viewer who never knew
You don't make a
you,
webpage over
they
it,
would
though.
talk about.
I mean, he made some webpage.
Sorry?
He made a webpage on it. A total stranger to David makes a webpage. That's something's not right there, just in of itself.
Yeah. All I'm saying is, if you were trying to memorialize, if I'm pronouncing it right, sorry, lack of sleep,
You got it.
you would talk about Boole's achievements and his goodness. That's what you would focus on.
Yes, but
not
why would
this?
But why would he do that? He didn't know David.
But we all know what this really is, right?
Yeah.
No, but any viewer can do that. If someone comes in as a point of view as a viewer who watched Boole and admired him, they would come in.
Yes, absolutely.
They would come in and talk about his achievements and stuff, his kindness that they have witnessed as a viewer. Not this shit.
That's
all I'm saying.
Astronomy Life says this guy's a psychopath, and by the way, there's an argument to be made whether somebody's a psychopath or sociopath. There is actually more than just a nomenclature or a semantic argument. I'm going to just say he's a sociopath. I'm not going to go so far as to say he's a full-on psychopath, but there's an argument to be made there. Yeah.
Oh.
I'd like to hear what Mr. Sirius
That boy ain't
said a
right.
second ago.
Go ahead.
Go on.
Oh, this is just an article to rub salt on Steve, wound Steve, and rub salt in it. That's all this is.
It's not
This
just
is
me. No, it's not just me, though. I agree with you, but it's not just me. It is to rub salt in the entire community. It is to harm as many people as possible.
I would think that would be the case. Yeah, that's what it turned into. But I think that if there was no community and you were just by yourself, this article would still exist just as it is.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
definitely.
Can you imagine? Okay, so I've talked about this. I think I talked about this the last two streams I was on with Steve. So I think Sunday and Monday. When Steve is talking, you'll notice that he's very specific, and he'll go back and clarify and be like, okay, well, I want to make sure that this is clear because I don't want things getting taken out of context. This is why. I've described what Steve does and the way he behaves as if he's an abused girlfriend. This is why. The reason why Steve behaves, and some of the other people within this community behave in this manner, and why they're so careful and cautious, and why they're so concerned about the way that whether or not charity is given or taken, or how things are phrased or how things are worded, is because they're being abused. Steve is an abused ex-girlfriend. Like, I don't know what else to say. He's got people who are ex-friends of his that constantly harass and berate every single thing at every single chance, even when it makes absolutely no sense, like you can see here.
I recognize
and it's
that.
the same thing that happens to me. It happens to Manya. It's happened to Mr. Sirius. It's happened to all of us. I'm sure it's happened to a good number of people in the community. I'm pretty sure I saw them going after Astronomy Live in the past. So there's the reason why that some of us may sound unsure when we speak or very, very careful is because that's the position that we're in, and that's why we're in these positions. You can see it right here.
We
and this is
never
an
get
ongoing thing.
I recognize
charity
that,
granted to us
and I recognize
at
that.
all.
I recognize that when I started on YouTube and how I am now is significantly different for that very reason. I was a lot
Right.
more open and
And-
things I can say back then, never in my mind entertaining the possibility there'd be so many duplicitous people that would take what I say and absolutely change the context in order to try to slander me. It never even crossed my mind. I never had to live with that in my life before.
That's what abusers do. They put words in your mouth. They misinterpret you on purpose.
They
Right.
gaslight
that
other
they can-
people.
But it's only been on YouTube.
Yeah.
I never,
That's
again,
what's
So they-
happening with I
Yeah.
literally watched. I watched this happen after the fact. So it was over by the time I came across this, and I watched a gaggle, a full group of these people go and berate one person over and over and over and over and over again. Now these people have long since we don't deal with, but this person was having to deal with them by themselves, and they didn't reach out to us, and we had no idea. And they berated this person and gaslit and lied to them so much that they started believing what they were saying was true. And we watched, like, you can go back and watch
True.
it happening. You go and read the Twitter threads. Like, this happened publicly. We just weren't aware until after the fact. And now that person absolutely fucking hates Steve. Absolutely hates Steve, but Steve didn't do anything. It was just these people gaslighting and berating this person until they agreed with them. And that's what we see them doing all of the time.
I've had
That's
people,
why we end up in these situations.
I've had people tell me, hey, Steve, and tell me in private, hey, Steve, I had to agree with them only so they could back off. I'm more than one person. I mean, this is a fact. So I'm not judging those people that have. I kind of understand. But yeah,
So,
they will
typical
ride,
abusive
they
tactic.
they will ride people to the point of trying to get them to be mentally unstable, and to, if you are somebody that has, and this one person who agreed with him has Asperger's.
What did
you know,
they try and do to me, talking about that I'm an inexperienced virgin, so my opinion doesn't matter, I am a drunk, I'm a call center agent, or I work at McDonald's, so as just to gaslight me and tell me that my opinion on a topic doesn't matter.
real quick.
They did that to me.
Yeah, and it's exactly the same thing. They you know, if they can't turn you, they will attack you, and we've seen it time and time again, and it is ubiquitous. They've done it to you. They've done it to
The
Cheshire.
How
case
many
of the
times-
missing
yeah,
question
Chesh
mark.
has been-
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, the principle of charities is ridiculously non-existent. Astronomy Live says, I don't know him as well as some of the other people here, but since I'm taking care of Dexter, I have a constant reminder of the fact that he's gone. So infuriating to see the lies, and thank you for that, by the way, Astronomy Live. We have no words to express
Yeah, that is
how
so
grateful we are
kind
for doing
and
that.
so generous.
We are all dog lovers. That's one thing I think that I don't know anybody in the community that's not, and if you're not, don't tell me. But
I've made
but-
a decision that I've started basing my a little bit of philosophy around about how I deal with people. If you don't like dogs, I don't want to associate with you. And that doesn't mean you have to love dogs and have a dog. That just means, like, if you actively dislike dogs, like if you actively have a hatred for dogs, I immediately don't trust you.
Yeah,
That doesn't mean
there's
you
something
can't be a
wrong.
cat person. It doesn't mean that you have to, like, have and love a dog and have your own dog. No. But if you don't like Puck, fuck you.
No, you know,
stay away from me.
Look, I don't have an issue with that kind of litmus type test any longer. I never really did, but I think it's appropriate. This is the same litmus test I use, like, for mathematics, like 0.9 repeating, for the same reasons. If a person, it doesn't, okay, to me, the way we have our society is how we treat the least among us. And we are stewards of animals. Animals are the least among us. If you will go out of your way to harm an animal, you are the lowest of the low, because they have, you know, no ability to defend themselves. And why would you? I mean, what could an animal possibly do to you? Do you want to go out of your way to harm
Yeah,
them?
like,
And I'm not talking about
what
hunting like
kind
that,
of-
but, you know,
What kind of a despicable human being
sociopath or
questions
psychopath,
whether a dog was a service animal or not?
right?
What are you
Yeah.
trying to do?
Yeah,
Well,
with
it's after
that.
the fact.
Dogs needs to
It's
be taken
after the
care of.
fact, right?
Doesn't
It's
matter.
not. It's after the fact. He never questioned this before. He's only questioning that now.
I couldn't even imagine anybody
why?
doing this though, even before, more or less after somebody passes, to question whether there's a service animal
Unless
or not. I mean,
trying
for God's
to
sake.
make it sound like we are lying about the dog's, status or purpose in Bull's life.
I don't know. I don't know what benefit that would be.
It serves one
Like-
purpose and one purpose only, and it's gonna piss everyone in this call off. It's so that they can try to paint the fundraisers we had as fraudulent. To add
Uh-huh.
another
They
one.
get in that. He gets in that.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
their next thing.
Yeah, he
I
gets
know
into
that's
that.
coming. That's
it's
their
coming.
next thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's
Yeah,
get through
let's progress with this thing.
Because
Yeah.
hey guys, because of course if Dexter wasn't a service dog specifically, it means we wouldn't have helped him. What the fuck?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Not service
What?
dog. Now you're on the
yeah,
street.
go, just, you know what? Take a hike, dog. Just run outside and go
Get
play in
outta here.
traffic. Yeah, go.
You know,
You're on your own. You're free. You're finally free. Run away.
Oh, we
If it was a
have
non-service
some
dog,
Or
we'd
he's
give him
trying to
pneumonia.
make that connection. Like, sorry, what?
If it was a
well, we have
non-service, I would give him pneumonia because just go to McDonald's.
All right, so let's try to we got through more of this. Many, if not most, of the quote creepy, profane members of the Steve McRae online quote community, with which Dave was associated, hid behind anonymous account names such as quote Glober Mom. How the fuck did Glober Mom? I don't understand how she's even brought up in this. I've never had.
Because she made a video.
But
Honoring
she's
Bull.
never
Yeah.
done anything detrimental to anybody.
I know why. What he's trying to project is that anyone. Okay, first he had a problem that no one was, remembering or honoring Bull enough. But if someone went to the other end and made a video, honoring Bull, it was, oh, there must be some agenda behind it.
So you can't
That
have
has
you
to
can't
be-
you have to be in public on your account to honor somebody and have a memorial to them. I mean, people have. I understand people are anonymous on the internet.
No. What I'm saying is, there's no winning with this shithead.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, the end
Damn
of
if you don't, damn if you
off.
do. If you do, you have an agenda to meet. That's what he's trying to get to.
Is it legit
I would've-
paranoia?
I would have
Yeah.
built a shrine to Bull if it didn't hurt so bad for like a week straight after he died.
Oh, I mean, people are still recovering, and
Is
it
it-
probably will be longer.
Is it
Okay, let
possible
me-
that Baty is jealous because he didn't think far enough ahead that now everybody knows his name and his shitty behavior?
Maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I
Let
mean,
me
when you're
just
out there
say-
with your real name and you're this duplicitous of a person, that's pretty
He
crappy.
basically, he's lucky that he's retired. If he was trying to, like, if he needed to get a job and any kind of workplace, like, saw this or became aware of it, because, like,
Or
a
did a
workplace
Google
in
search on
general
his name.
will search your name. Yeah, exactly. So, like, he'd be fucked. It's like that guy who was on the other night with Fight the Flat Earth and Red's Rhetoric, that baller, buster, whatever guy. He was talking about how he doesn't need to use his speedometer when he's driving his truck because he just knows how fast he's going. And so it's like, I feel like if your boss found out that you said that, you would probably be in trouble as a truck driver.
Yeah.
Yeah, the keys would be taken away. So yeah,
If Baty was a journalist, like, let's just say, I'm just throwing in a hypothetical. I know he wasn't, but if Baty was a journalist and he did this in his spare time and presented it as if it was journalistic, the way he does, he would be fired, like, immediately.
Yeah. This is just.
oh yeah, they'll be like,
Well,
what the hell, dude?
All right, let's get through this more.
But
I-
before we move on, I just want to say how much it's pissing me off the way that he spells online.
Yeah,
with the
fair.
hyphenated.
I needed to say that. I'm sorry. Continue.
All right,
Yeah, that's really
who says
horrible.
Glober Mom who
Now I can't
broadcast
unsee it.
who broadcasts, and I don't, again, alleged like memorial YouTube video entitled "Bull One of a Kind," a celebration of his YouTube life, and then she has.
What does it mean by alleged? Like
I
alleged
don't
memorial
know.
YouTube video.
I
What
read
the
over
fuck?
this a couple of times. I think I can answer that. He goes on in a couple of paragraphs here or something to say that she spends like 6 minutes attacking someone else.
Yeah,
Oh
well,
yeah,
So
so
I think
she
that's
has
where
an
he's saying
agenda, so
Alright,
blah
so
blah blah
what?
blah.
So what?
that's where he's saying alleged and pretending, because this isn't a real memorial. You're attacking someone
Oh,
else.
Oh yeah, by
but-
his
So I
standards,
think
okay.
that's where
Who,
that's
who the
coming
fuck
But
made
hang
him
on,
in
here's the
charge?
thing though. People know that David had had a history with a lot of people, just like I had. The same people, as a matter of fact. He had left the group that I had left the same time for the same reasons. He did not find their things to be ethical by any stretch of imagination. He saw the shit they were doing, and Booleanenator was untouchable when it comes to ethics, unimpeachable ethics.
If I'm not mistaken, the thing that Glover Mom attacked. Hopefully, I'm not mistaken on this. I'm pretty sure I've got it right, but there's a lot going on right now. My foot hurts.
Yeah, don't drop shit on
Girl.
it. Yeah.
Oh, my poor foot.
How are you going to do your feet thingy now with now
I know my OnlyFans career
now,
is over.
now you're going to be now you're really going to have
Turn
a
it into a
niche.
piercing.
Yeah, it'll be a
Ooh.
niche foot thing. Be deformed, scarred feet.
Shattered foot.
Shattered foot.
So, if I'm not mistaken, she refers to Validation Boy, who after Bull died did the exact same kind of thing that Baty did.
Oh, did he? Because I don't follow him. I know of him. He's a twisted individual. So yeah, I mean.
Oh, that moron
and so-
that
and so-
pretended to know more about me and then asked me like, who am I?
But Glover Mom, has there any right to talk about anybody that she wants when it comes to that stuff? I don't have anything to do with Validation Boy, but I know that Glover Mom did, and I think you even did at one time.
It was still about Boole, and it was
Yes.
still about people
Yeah.
being inappropriate about his death. So yeah, it makes sense that it would have been part of the memorial
Absolutely.
as like a caveat at the beginning or the end. It doesn't really matter. He's nitpicking some bullshit that he wouldn't stand by anyway.
It's
Because if he wants to define, you think that people at memorials don't tell people who didn't like that person to go fuck themselves?
Right.
That happens all the time. This
Or
is
what
normal.
that person stood for and their values, etc., etc., etc. Like, I don't know.
Yep.
I mean,
If
this might
someone
just be.
stands for something, one of the great ways to memorialize them is to, stand for that thing in their honor at that moment.
Yeah, I mean, this might be a wild, crazy opinion, but Glober Mom might just happen to know what might honor Bull a little bit better than Baty.
Oh, you think? All right. So I got the distinct impression that David's quote creepy and profane on. Now I can't unsee that fucking hyphen. Thank you. And
Right?
You're welcome.
An profane online community associated with Steve McRae was more of a problem for him given his physical and mental issues than a help. Are they trying to cover up their suspected part? Hang on. Are they trying to cover up for their suspected part in his quote? He's not quoting this, but I'm quoting it. Possible suicide. This has got to be the most reprehensible statement in probably this entire thing, because what he's doing now
May I?
is after I finish, is what he's trying to do now is he's trying to have by implicature, by throwing out a unsubstantiated and uncorroborated, completely inappropriate, with no evidence whatsoever, that somehow Bull possibly committed suicide, which, by the way, completely did not happen, and given his, quote, physical and mental issues, as if autism is somehow a mental illness that gives him like the higher percentage of committing suicide, and that somehow our community contributed to that. Again, we were his lifeline for a lot of things. When he got bored and he had nothing else to do, he just wanted to have a friend to talk to. He called us, just like I called other people, just like we all do stuff like that. We rely on each other. There was never indication of any kind of depression that I've seen with him that would lead to me even to suspect that he had committed suicide. Now, did I ask when it happened? Only because, what was it? Was it a murder, suicide? Was it natural? I needed to know what was going on. I was taken aback when I got this information. It hit me like a brick. I mean, it was just like out, boom, here, Dave's no longer with this kind of thing. But that whole thing about committing suicide went in my brain and out the other side. It just didn't make sense to me that he would do so, because there was no indication whatsoever. Why would somebody who doesn't even know David, somebody who has never had even any interactions with David, not only try to insinuate that he committed suicide, but then trying to say that somehow our community, all of you guys, every one of us, all you out there listening, played a hand in it? That's morally
If-
disgusting.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
If I may, I'll address this directly to Baty. Baty, Bull passed away due to natural causes. That's all you're getting. Live with it. If you want to speculate anything else, come with receipts, or else shut the fuck up.
Don't even come with receipts. There is no coming with receipts because he's done.
No. If he wants to, he
Don't-
made a claim.
I don't give a shit.
He made a
I don't
claim.
give a shit. If he continues with this, everybody should just shut him down. Period. There is no making a claim and showing that it wasn't unless he can show the autopsy the autopsy report.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
That's it. If he has the
Not
autopsy
us,
report,
not
which I
anything
know
related to us. It's
doesn't
around
have-
what he's talking about. Bulls passing away. That's what I'm talking about.
But we know what was the cause. You know what it was. I know what it was.
Yeah.
And we do know for a fact it was natural causes. And so
Yeah.
This whole thing. Remember, it goes back to the very first thing I said when I started this about him saying, "Well, you either did say that the nuke school was a PhD or you didn't say it." It was this weird, throwing of simple logic, right? Okay,
double-edged
hang
sword
on.
thing.
But this is his incredibly poor logical reasoning because is either he did commit suicide or he didn't, which is a logical dichotomy. He feels that merely because there's a bare possibility of that chance, he had the right to make something like this. I'm sorry, ethically, it does not give you the right to do something like this. It could have been possible that Dave.
That's why I started with.
It could have been possible that
that's
Dave,
all he's getting.
It could have been possible that Dave was abducted by aliens and they did horrific, experiments on him. Is that possible? Yes. But you don't write an article saying that people in the community, contacted aliens to have him come down and take David. This is again. His brain is so convoluted that he thinks that because the possibility existed, he ethically had the right to write this. And I'm sorry, you don't. You do not have an ethical.
No, he doesn't. I
ethical right
don't
to do
deny
this.
that at all.
Yeah.
No, I don't deny that at all.
Well,
It's just
if you
I'm
notice,
just like
he's also-
Baty, shut the fuck up.
If you notice, he's also attempting to shirk any kind of responsibility by saying that, everybody else is a bad person for saying I shouldn't be saying bullshit like this. No,
gaslighting.
People are saying you shouldn't be saying bullshit like this because this is societally unacceptable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. From every metric.
He blocked me before I could say to him, like, hey, what would you think? Say you die, and I go and try and talk to all of your friends about your Viagra overdose.
Autoerotic
Would you think that's
asphyxiation.
fucking creepy or what?
No, it was auto. If he dies, it's going to be by autoerotic asphyxiation.
Come on, he can't get it up anymore.
No, it'll be the attempt. Tighten that noose even
The
more.
attempted autoerotic asphyxiation.
Yeah, which one
Yeah,
got
I'm
him
gonna
first?
head out.
All right, thank you, Manya.
See you later, Manya.
Thank you, Manya.
Yeah,
Love
Cheers.
you,
Bye.
love you, Manya.
If you
Lunchtime over.
if
Bye, guys.
Love you.
if Dick Dawson is to be believed, the most likely form of hypothetical that we're talking about is choking on Dick Dawson's dick.
Yeah, and by the way,
Excellent point.
I have like I said, I don't want this to be a ranting type thing. It's hard not to, but I'm trying not to. But if you want to listen to a great rant, then go to Dick Dawson's video, which is the link in the video description. And
My favorite bit is the bit about the squirrel.
That was clever. I got to give it to him.
all right, so continue on.
Oh, before you continue on, I have to go over this. This sentence is one of the most disgusting sentences that I think is in this entire thing. The one about, are they trying to cover up for their suspected part in his possible suicide? The only person who even mentioned suicide is Baty in this
Yep.
thing. The only person who even mentions that there could that suicide is possible is Baty here now. And now suddenly we're a suspect in the thing that he himself brought up.
What was even a cover up? Yeah, I don't even understand that. I mean, people know
And
it was
now-
natural causes. We
Right.
That was released.
And now now that we're a suspect, are we trying to do a cover up?
it's again the
Or-
paranoid mindset.
I
Well,
mean,
no.
how much more is he trying to pretend that we're burying
It's
ourselves?
layer
here?
and
How
layer of
much-
bullshit.
Well, not
Yeah.
only that, but that also plays to some of the things that he was saying online, which was one of the reasons why I blew up on him and got him to block me. But after, just before this was released, He made basically the comment of, hey, the community deserves to know, release the cause of death and all of that, and he got told to fuck off. He then began to call all of this a game, and how we're afraid to come out and play, and how we're
Oh my
responsible
God.
for this
It's
shit.
just mind-boggling.
Yeah,
Mind-boggling.
So a lot of
That's
my anger
so
was fuck off.
disturbing.
It's so
Yeah, that's so
well,
disturbing.
Again, it is somebody who is a sociopath, maybe a psychopath. This is, again, you be the judge. Again, you're not making a medical diagnosis, but I'm sorry. In my opinion, this is
the
psychopathic
kind of-
behavior.
This is the kind of behavior that, like, you see this person walking down the street and you cross the road. This is like if I found out I lived in the same city as this person, I would want to leave the city because of his vitriolic and petty and hateful behavior, because I would not feel safe.
It's flat Earth level stuff. It literally is flat Earth level stuff. This is the tactics that I would
No,
expect
because
from-
there's no like flat earthers that I think I would be comfortable in a room with most flat
No,
earthers.
I agree with
most
that.
of them.
He's being worse than flat Earthers right now. What I'm saying is that
Yeah, flat earthers are scared to talk to you.
they at least they'll make
Spurs
these.
made a shitty joke. Spurs made a shitty joke at a really shitty and inappropriate time. But he did not do this. He did not say that, oh, the community is responsible
Yeah.
for some imaginary thing that this guy has just made up in his head. Like, this is the kind of person who would justify assaulting somebody or harassing or abusing somebody, because this is what this is. This is abuse.
Absolutely.
Well,
Is.
he's-
So if he can justify the abuse here,
Yes.
what's stopping him
This is
from
what-
justifying in
Well,
in
he's
real life?
also-
Which is why I would feel not safe in a room with this person.
Right. No, I agree with
He's
that.
also changing Bull's death into some kind of sadistic game for him to like argue and win on the internet.
Yes.
Because Steve
fuck?
left the Facebook group.
Yes. Yes. I mean, that's all true. In publicly attempting to discuss the matter online, Steve McRae himself responded to something I posted, as shown below, via his Twitter account.
It wasn't a discussion.
Yeah, there was no discussion.
This is a fucking discussion, asshole. This has
and
never
I-
been.
and-
It was informing people about what happened, not discussing it with them. Jackass.
Yeah, there was no discussion to be had with him. So Reddit posted an update on the final word of Bull's passing, and that it was natural causes. And so he made this tweet about, looks like the secrecy will continue. Again, paranoid mindset. There was no secrecy, none to be had. He's not privy to family information about what happened.
We didn't have to tell anybody
No.
anything ever. We could have not said anything and Bull would have just been gone.
Yes.
And we could have said nothing and we would not be required to say anything. We're under no obligation, moral or otherwise, to inform you guys at all. You could have found out on your own, through your own means, through your own times. We didn't do that because we care about the community. We care about the
And-
people in the community, and we know Bull would care.
Well, let me ask you this, Shesh. When a celebrity dies, I don't see people ever saying, well, the public deserves a right to know. If the family doesn't discuss the cause of death, then it doesn't get out there. Is that not correct? I've never seen a journalist even do this. Never.
I've never seen this happen.
Never. Never in my life. But I
I
say
mean, you got TMZ fuckers that'll go in and, oh, no, he didn't actually die of natural causes. It was a cocaine overdose,
Well,
and we have this.
yeah,
but that's
yeah,
that's shitty journalism.
that's shitty
I've
journalism.
I've seen, but keep in mind that Bull is not a public figure.
Right.
No, not at all.
Bull is not on any. Was not like, he's not Britney Spears. If Britney Spears died, there'd be like so many conspiracy theories around that shit.
But if the
because of
family
what
did not release it, they didn't have to.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. All right. So let's continue. I gotta power through this, guys. So Robert, I tell him, go fuck yourself with human fecal matter. That's why I think of him. He is human fecal matter. That's it. That's Baty, human fecal matter. There was no discussion to be had. This was my statement to him. Go fuck off. Period. That's it. Short, sweet. What else is to be said on that? And I said, Jeff was saying something about hell, and I said, earn a trip to hell, I hope. I may become a theist to hope to God that there's a special place in hell for him and those like him. And I do mean that. Now, do I think there's hell? No. We're going to be doing a show on the 11th, I think it is, on Agree to Argue about the topic of hell. No, I don't think such punitive place exists. However, if it did exist, there would be a special layer. in that hell for people like Baty. There would be if any kind of justice whatsoever. And I'm sorry, that's my opinion. I'm allowed to have that. If people want to come after me for that, knock yourself out.
He has got this double standard where he's allowed to make any kind of conspiracy bullshit theory he wants, but if somebody expresses that, like, their displeasure at what he's said, that they're not allowed to.
Yep.
Like, this person just accused Steve of having a hand in a non-existent suicide, and now he's saying that it's not okay for Steve to
Right?
say, tell him to go fuck himself.
Right? I mean, it's bizarre. I mean, who thinks this way? Anybody in their right mind would tell this guy to fuck off. Jesus would tell him to fuck off. I mean,
At least.
Jeez. More recently, in Steve McRae's again.
Oh yeah, that's
all
right.
about
Aaron
me.
Raw follows this guy. Aaron Raw follows this guy. I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
there's a lot of people that seem to like prop this guy up every so often. But again, it's all about me somehow. It's all about me. More recently, in Steve McRae's Twitter thread, there was this from one of the quote creepy, anonymous, and profane members of his community. BC randomly. Holy shit, how hateful does one person have to call out someone honoring a friend's life? That Baty dude is seriously fucked and needs to take a giant step back. I couldn't agree with more with that. What's the problem?
Hey, is he trying to debunk his own argument by posting screenshots?
I don't get this. Cheshire, you speak this kind of fuckery every so often. You can parse things out and make it at least maybe come up with something. What the fuck is this?
He thinks that somebody saying he needs to back off is more important than the first half of what he just said. So the screenshot says, "Holy shit! How hateful does one person have to be to do that, to behave in this manner?" Baty has completely ignored that half of the sentence, is only looking at the second half.
Weird.
No,
He needs
I
to
think
take
it's.
the fuck back, and he's fucked up. So
I think it's the
saying
fuck
that,
word.
right, well, yeah. That.
Oh,
Yes. So by saying,
I think that's it. I think it's he's objecting to how he said shit and fuck.
Now,
That is somehow worse than what Baty's doing.
I have heard, and I don't know if this is the case, I had heard that Baty is a Christian and might actually be a younger creationist. I don't know. Or maybe he is overly sensitive. I don't know.
I've gotten that inference as well, but I didn't give enough of a shit
I
to
don't
check.
either. Yeah, I didn't either.
He thinks that telling him to fuck off and take a step back is more offensive than the first half of that sentence, or sorry, the first half of that tweet is the part that matters.
Right.
That first half actually actively debunks the behavior within the article that he posted.
Yeah, he just ignores it, like, and then he posted.
But that's not what drew his eye. That's not what's important. He doesn't understand or doesn't accept any kind of criticism towards him at all in the way. He's not taking any kind of responsibility for his own behavior because he's a child.
He's a man-child, yeah. And then he shows David's.
Why do you think he needs so much attention? Why do you think he throws tantrums the way he does?
Well, that's probably why you said he had family that would keep him in check, maybe.
I can't imagine how somebody I can't imagine how somebody who behaves this way could get through life without their hand being held by other people throughout that life.
Right? I mean, somebody had to keep him in check. Because this is just bizarre. Yeah, BC randomly. Steve McRae, my bad for having a potty mouth. Oh, yeah. Like, anybody who gives a shit about that, I mean, like, we all curse. And the people that don't, we respect that, and it's all good. It's up to you. But, I mean, it's the internet. I mean, who gets offended by people cursing on the internet? It's the fucking internet!
You know who does? You know who does? You know who does?
Sociopaths?
Boomers.
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 Yeah, they made millennials. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I don't know why he shows Bull's YouTube channel. I mean, this is creepy level stock as shit here. He shows Bull's first video.
Yeah, this looks this looks almost looks like it belongs on 4chan.
It's. I have no words. It's just creepy. He talks about Bull's fundraiser. He talks about cause of death.
Hey, what do you think the odds are that people are false flagging that fundraiser for being fraudulent?
I don't think anybody is.
You don't think so?
I doubt it.
Really?
Really?
Are
You
you
think so?
sure? I'll
I don't
bet
know.
you money on that.
No. No. Look, nothing
Awfully
surprises me.
optimistic of you.
Yeah, I know. right? That's sad.
That's awfully naive.
Yeah. You're right, but I have no evidence either way on that. So
Christ, this looks like my Cindy Crawford fan page from 1998.
this is
Right?
again. This is why I put "Are you a sociopath?" asking the people to evaluate if this person is a sociopath for doing something like this, because I sure think that they are. This is what I'm literally giving you guys my opinion on what if I think of a sociopath, this is what I think. And then we got EBBJ Comic Nut. He says, "What? Get the F out. They don't owe the public a thing, no matter how you or I feel about it, period. If they told Reds they didn't want any more info on this topic out in the public domain, he needs to respect that. Don't take Bull's death and turn it into something personal it's not." And we agree. We agree.
He's that. Well, the thing is that Baty, whatever, is trying to say that we made some kind of spectacle out of this.
Nobody
situation.
did anything except for
Well,
grief over a friend.
While he is trying to make a spectacle out of it for clicks.
Ah. And by the way, that's not even
You see his
hyperbole.
reply there?
Well, hang on. Yeah, we're going to get to that. He actually even said in a tweet somewhere where he said that his views on his webpage have gone up because of this, and he's done it. He wants to promote his webpage. It's like, that's just for what reason? I mean, does he make so much money off of 100 clicks off a webpage? What do you make, a penny? You know how much I make off my webpage?
No.
About 3 cents a month, and I'm not even exaggerating. It's about 2 to 3 cents a month.
Because he's a pathetic. So when people say that there's there is an issue with social media, that people start obsessing and making their whole lives and their value as a person around likes on Instagram.
Yes.
The studies that have been done about that.
Sure.
That's what this is.
You might be right. Yeah, he might be validating himself by the number of people that read his shit, even though they think he's utterly detestable. But hey, look, they're still visiting my page. I don't think any of them will go to his page like they will, like the Great Debate Community page when I write a blog, where people go, "Hey, this was interesting. I learned something about this. This was a cool topic."
The thing he's not considering what people think when they see it. He thinks that a view is something positive, meaning that he's just assuming whatever they think about it is positive because he's getting that endorphin hit.
Yes, and go ahead.
Yeah. So it's an equating, because keep in mind that Boole, as far as this person is concerned, wasn't a person. He was there's a level of detachment there that he's not gonna, he doesn't have the ability to be like, well, this could be my family member.
Yeah.
He's not looking at it in that way. Whether he could look at it that way or not, I don't know, but he's currently not.
Well, and that would be a defining thing between psychopathy, a sociopath, and a psychopath.
Sure,
yeah.
But I mean, even I can. I mean, I don't think like that. I don't make comparisons that way. So I don't think that if I were in that position, like, so let's say somebody died and it was a friend of somebody I fucking hated, I wouldn't do this because there is a level of an emotion. There's a level of hatred in this that most that I don't. My brain doesn't go there. And there's a level of obsession here. So I don't want to diagnose it. So I don't really know how to view
I would
this.
love to get a professional to diagnose some of this stuff. I mean, to me, this is a special case of psychopathy. But yeah, I would love to have a professional evaluate some of this stuff, because this is textbook to me, just of somebody who has mental issues and is using those mental issues to harm other people. Period. And he says, and it's weird, like somebody points it out, he says, "I'm not the one making it personal." The fuck you ain't. How many times did he use my name? David Fulton's family could care less what attention I've given to all the fuss. They don't even know who he is, nor do they care. It's not a matter of him. The McRae community is making over it and would have preferred McRae community keep their interests about it private. How does he fucking know what the family wanted?
How? Okay, so he doesn't know Boole, and he knows that
Right.
the family. No, I really hope that he has had at least some level of social, like some kind of separation between his online persona and his real life persona, that he has not reached out to Boole's family.
Oh God, that would be scary. That would be
really
now
hope
that you mention that, though, that
off of my computer, and now I'm going to phone this person. I really hope that.
Why did you
that
even
there
put that
is
in my mind?
something blocking him from doing
Wha-
something so fucking horrendous.
Why did you even put that in my mind, though? Because I could see that.
I
Well,
I
you
could
would-
too.
But
You
he
would
said,
need at least the contact info, and
no, he
does
doesn't. But I'm sure he seems like one of those
It's
resourceful
not-
people, you know.
I'll hold on. Yeah,
But
yeah.
but here's the thing, and he says shame on the McCray community. But when this happened, people knew who to contact. I have a list of in fact, I have on my computer a list of contact list of information, and I just had my daughter over the other day, and I've showed her exactly that content, and I'm like, if anything happens to me, here's the contact list of people, the contact. Dave had one as well, and so how do you think we arranged? Or I did. I actually wasn't a part of this, but people that were, they arranged for Dexter to go with Astronomy Live, right? Obviously there's more to it than that, but they know the family members. I didn't. But for him to even insinuate that he knew what the family members' wishes were, for somebody who was not his friend, for somebody who thought he was detestable, for somebody who thought that this person was not a person they would ever want to associate with in real life or on the internet, is beyond my comprehension. For him to even try to argue such a thing or to say such a thing, it's just mind-boggling.
He's so far outside of what he has any kind of business saying. So many assertions that he has no fucking leg to stand on at all. It's baffling. It is mind-boggling that he was literally talking about. Why is he debunking himself in his own article?
I don't know. Rez Instance, 100 Australian. Thank you, Rez. But you know what? Hold off on the super chats. I don't want any super chats for this particular thing. Although I do appreciate it immensely, Rez, very much. But because especially what he said, it needs to be said. Fuck Baty. Fuck Baty. I agree with you wholeheartedly, Rez. But thank you for that.
He's mad that I think he's mad that we're discussing the thing he published. Hey, I made this thing public. Oh no, stop talking about me talking about you.
I don't know. I'm not paying attention when he's doing it on Twitter, but I don't care. After this, I'm going back to ignoring him again. Hopefully, I don't no reason to ever talk about him, mention his name, deal with him, and by the way, I was going to say this at the very end, but I'll save it for now, or say it now. If you follow Baty and you do engage with him, I probably will end up unfollowing or muting you because I don't want to see it. And that's no disrespect to anybody. I'm not saying don't what to do. I'm saying I don't want to see it in my timeline. I don't want to even fucking deal with it. And I respect people when they do that, when they say, hey Steve, if you want to continue this person, I'm just gonna not. I don't want to see your shit. Yeah, I get it. Brad's done that to me before, and I'm like, yeah, cool, I get it, right? So it's nothing personal. So if I unfollow people that are engaging with him, it is not personal. It's just that I don't want to see it. I just don't. Okay, does that make sense? I don't want to be like an ass about it. It's just there's just
to give everybody a disclaimer out there. If you want to try to give Baty your 2 cents, let me just give you a warning out there. I've tried talking with him, and like Steve had said, there is something not right in his head.
Right.
You are not going to get through to him. He is not going to talk to you like a normal person talks. Something is you're not going to meet eye to eye. You're going to talk past each other, and it's going to be weird. This is why I feel really I feel sorry trying to communicate with him. It's not gonna. It's weird. It's like talking to a toddler. Don't try. It's not worth it.
Why do you think I left that community? In 10 minutes of dealing with him, I realized just what you said. I was like, this person has no ability to have a conversation.
If you've noticed, if anybody has actually gone to look at what that kind of group of people have been saying, there's a handful of them that aren't okay with this. But besides that, there's also a handful of them who seem to think that Boole was also part of their community.
He was not.
He also thinks they also seem to think for some reason that we are part of the same community that they are. If you try and force yourself into talking to us and dealing with us, that does not make you part of any kind of community. Like you clearly don't understand anything, and you need to go back to kindergarten.
Yeah, I'm not a member of their community, not in the remote, not even close. And Dave did not consider himself at all. Now he was amicable. Dave was a lot nicer than I was. I know that's hard to believe, guys, but I'm pretty nice. No, but Dave was the epitome of nice, and so he at least tried to be amicable about certain things, and at least would talk. to a couple of them, but I think he changed his position. I'm not going into the details, but I can tell you right now, last year, at the beginning of last year, I believe it was, he went in a hangout. He was ambushed by two of the people that he didn't want to talk to. He felt slighted by it. He wasn't there to have a conversation with them about that. And at that point, he was like, I do not want to be around any of these people, period. And he made a conscious
plus
decision.
after what I think after what Nick did, I think that sort of
Solidified it
changed.
even more.
Yeah.
Okay.
To put it in simple terms, just because your baseball team, your school's baseball team plays my school's baseball team doesn't mean you go to my school.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Or we could like the same team, but that doesn't mean that we, have, we're going to be like having parties together for, watch the game together. But pray, because like for example, some of the people out there that I detest, I can't say I disagree with them on everything. I don't. I mean, they don't agree with flat Earth. I don't agree with flat Earth. They don't agree with young Earth creations. I don't. So I mean, but that just because there's certain things we agree on doesn't mean I'm part of their community. I'm not. It just doesn't work that way. Turquoise Lao says, "Pray tell, what the actual fuck makes you think you deserve to know?" Yep. You're foul, you're disrespectful, and you're irrelevant. So why on earth do you think you have the right to know the exact details of his death? Which is succinct, perfectly well said. And his response, another anonymous creep come to visit apparently from the Cray community with nothing relevant to say about Dave Fulton's story. What she said, by the way, she's not from my camp, but what she said was exactly what everybody would be thinking.
You don't need. Here's the thing. He is trying to frame anybody who thinks that what he's doing is inappropriate as if there's some kind of sides to some kind of discussion that's going on.
Yep.
There isn't a discussion. You said some dumb shit and people are telling you that you said some really, really inappropriate dumb shit. This isn't an argument.
Yep. Aussie Baller.
What Baty has said is, and the way Baty has behaved is objectively not acceptable in society.
It's objectively
anybody
abhorrent.
Saying otherwise,
Yep.
and anybody who is saying that they don't understand why this is not appropriate has the exact same problem that Baty has.
Yep. It is objectively abhorrent. No, there's no society. Nobody that works in the psychology fields or the social fields that would ever say something like this is societally acceptable. I would love to find my one person who would. Aussie Baller, who by the way is absolutely amazing. He says, and you sir are lying, POS, piece of shit. And Robert, I noticed there's no quote or link suggesting I may want to dispute the claim, which is false by creep. Everything to Baty is a claim and embattlement. He thinks everything is, it's a chess, it's not even chess. It's chess. It's basically, a checkers with a 3-year-old. He thinks that all this is a game. It's really bizarre. And it's not a game. People's real lives are affected by these types of things. But he'll make everything into it. Oh, well, you made a claim and blah, blah, blah. No, you're a piece of shit. That is a claim. I don't have to back it, but I am in this video, but you're a piece of shit.
It's an opinion.
It's an opinion, yeah. No, I fully admit it's an opinion. I'll make the argument later as an objective opinion, but
I'll tell you what.
Even though it's not truly objective.
He's lied. He has lied. He has got things wrong, and he's been a creep, and he's been an asshole, and he's been completely inappropriate. And all you need to do to see that is to look at his own goddamn blog,
and
where
that's
he's
the
got
funniest thing.
screenshots debunking himself.
Yeah, this is the funniest thing. This is his blog. This isn't somebody else pointing his shit out, which would make a hell of a lot more sense if this was somebody who just tested him and said, "Hey, I want to keep a record of what Baty has said." That I can at least make a little more sense of. I'd find it probably a little inappropriate considering the timing and the topic, but still.
The trolls finally showed up. It only took them an hour and a half to get here. You're late. What took you so long?
Brian Max says, "Why are you so bothered by this? People are allowed to be sad someone died. Trying to make this a quote thing about secrecy showed how of a cunty person you are." He's like, "I'm not bothered, just following the story." No, he's not. There's no. What story? He created the story in his head.
Yeah, there is no story here. This is a thing that happened, period. The information was made available, period. End of...
Yeah, I don't get it.
I jumped in for a second just to say something that I thought was important to say. about his behavior? Is that okay?
Yes, by all means.
I don't know whether we could classify him as a sociopath or psychopath, but there's a concept, I think probably you might be familiar with it, Steve. Cheshire might as well, but it's called the banality of evil.
Yes.
Where someone, it goes back to the Holocaust, where many of the people would, they didn't have a strong ideology, or they didn't have moral, indignation or a sense of righteousness. They just were very cliche and boring people that wanted to promote themselves, and that's all they're boiled down to.
Yeah, and it also goes
And
to the
it's
fact,
very banal. And
but it also goes to, is there a limit to the degree of evil that it can exist in a society and a person? Just when you think that person won't stoop any lower, they widely exceed your low expectations.
Because I can't see any direct reason, because he mostly did all of this just to be like, oh, look how well I'm doing. It's like, great, cool.
Yeah. Kent Hoven CPA, welcome back. He says Baty rather seems incelish. There might be an argument to be had from that, but that's neither here nor there. But thank you, Kent Hoven CPA. He says, then somebody says you can't. Actually, hang on. This. I'm gonna go through a lot of this stuff really quickly. I'm not bothered just following the story. It's like there's this quote community associated with that McRae character. I don't even understand McRae character. I'm like one of the most mainstream centralist persons on the YouTube. I don't have really any what I would even consider to be remotely extreme views on anything. I'm not far right. I'm not far left. I don't advocate.
But Steve, you didn't want to be in his Facebook group.
I know. I'm a bad person for not wanting to be in a shitty fucking Facebook group that allows people to smear people without contesting it. Yeah, I know. I'm a horrible fucking person. Who thinks that the internet is their personal, private, one-way street, despite the trouble they go into getting public attention for their projects and issues. Well, he's getting attention, and he has every right. Don't get me wrong. He has every right to do what he's doing. Whether an ethical right is a completely different story. I think it's unethically the case, but does he have an actual right? Absolutely. We have a right to call it out, and I think that you guys all have a right to call it out as well. Yes. This is his page!
Listen, this is so poorly put together, so rushed. Yeah, this is so poorly put together, so rushed, and so self-debunking that it for me it gets a 0 out of 10, and I would not fap again.
It's childishly put together. All right,
I can put something better together in my sleep.
I've seen what you have OneNote, and you organize everything that way.
You know what?
I don't skip this shit because I don't care.
I don't think that he thinks that it's poorly put together.
No, because he's delusional.
He thinks it's
he
like
doesn't know how to critically look at his own work.
Right?
He thinks it's a brilliant conspiracy board with all the points leading toward a central point, and really they don't lead anywhere.
You're right. No, you're right. No, he does. I think he does. Absolutely.
The guy with he's a guy in a basement with all of the the cork board with the string.
Yeah, exactly, in his basement. I will read this one. I'll go to Unicorn for 2 says, Baty just now blocked me on Twitter. Congratulations, actually. Again, he should be blocked. Anybody who's watching this stream, he should be blocking. But he says, why does your community hate me so much? Let me put it this way. Nobody gave a fuck about Baty prior to this. Nobody cared. We all ignored him for the last year. He was nobody.
My God. Well, can I answer his question?
Sure.
Nobody does.
Nobody does.
Nobody hates you. The answer is that they're appalled by your behavior, and they're explaining to you exactly how appalled they are.
Yeah.
They're not going to talk about you or to you in a week.
There are people that I hate.
It's not going to happen. They don't care.
I mean,
nobody cares. Nobody hates you. You keep sticking your face up, and you keep getting whack-a-mole because you keep sticking your face up. Nobody thinks about you otherwise.
Exactly. If he walked off a flat Earth and walked off the edge, I wouldn't give a shit. But I don't. There's not even emotional investment to hate him. I do hate some people. I fully admit that. He's not one of the people I hate. I have ambivalence toward him personally. I find what he's doing to be morally reprehensible, though. I hate that.
Baty is the equivalent of the drunk that takes a crap on the main street. Yeah, at the moment when you see it happening, you'll yell at the guy, but it's not like you go think about it the next day.
Yeah, at best he's an example that might get brought up once in a blue moon of what not to do.
Don't be like that guy.
Yeah, don't be like Baty.
He's an asshole.
Yeah, don't be like Baty.
Be like Boole.
Be like Bull, don't be like Baty.
You like
Yeah, and Beatty, if you think that you're like the evil wizard, like we think that you're the evil wizard that hides like in your castle, and we're scared of you, and we have to plan to,
Oh God.
you know, defend
Nobody
ourselves
thinks about
against you.
him. Nobody.
Like no,
I mean, the day was the first thing I think I mentioned his name, and God, Cheshire, how often do we ever mention his name? I don't recall barely, if ever, do we? We don't sit around talking about this fuckwad.
I don't know, but I want to hear the rest of Mr. Serious's analogy because it sounds hilarious.
Well, I was getting into like when we were in this thread, we're in a Twitter thread involving the numbers and stuff, and Batty, of course, appears. And when he appeared, I thought, oh yeah, this guy exists, because I haven't thought about him since the last time he was in a Twitter thread.
The last time he said something obnoxiously stupid and decided to tweet at all of us to talk about us.
Right.
There was I enjoy that these fucking links, these blue links, like the one that goes to Pheasant's fucking Twitter. Like he doesn't understand how hyperlinks work. Like
I don't know.
What
those are too small for me to read, and I'm not going to blow them up. But
layout is obnoxious.
it's so bad.
What link? What screenshot?
It's so bad. All right, so among other problems, the hypocrisy of Steve McRae and his creepy community is all more evident after consideration of the following from Steve McRae. Oh, let's read this. Okay.
All right, let's see how
Okay. We've explained to you guys hypocrisy. Not that you guys needed it. It's pretty self-explanatory, right? You guys are not stupid. So let's see if this is hypocrisy. Let's do this. Okay, I want you guys' opinion. Then I'll block you if you say it is. No, I'm kidding. I tell people, and I stand by this, offense is a them problem, not a me problem. If someone's offended by my Twitter, they may not want to follow me. If they do follow me, they can't bitch about being offended. I stand by that. I have a not PC in my Twitter bio, and I tell people that it, I don't cater to your fifis. So what is wrong with that? How is that hypocrisy? I don't follow Baty.
Apparently, people think we're dangerous because we're talking about us. We're talking about them.
Okay, so here's a go. Somebody says, Steve, I've seen you block people and delete their comments because you don't like them disagreeing with you. When? That has never happened.
Also not the time and place, and no, not proving your point.
Yeah.
We're talking about somebody being incredibly disrespectful to somebody who is no longer with us and accusing the community of being involved in that person's passing. So if you want to have a beef with Steve, it's fine for you to take it up with him. Now is not the time or place. Correct. You won't get hidden on the channel, but you will be indefinitely in timeout for the rest of the stream. Simple as that.
Yeah.
This is not proving any point, and the fact that you think that demonstrates that you're just here to try and.
But I want to make it very clear: disagreement is fine. This whole community is predicated upon disagreement. Nobody's ever been blocked because they disagree. There are people that have been blocked. I'll give you an example. I have one person that has for years stalked me on that whole 0.9 repeating equals 1. He has made numerous fake accounts.
Telling you something now is not the time to air a specific grievance, and that if you continue to air that specific grievance when it's been explained to you that somebody died and we're having a discussion about the behavior around that, is you behaving the same kind of way.
Yeah, and they'll be done in a second.
No, it doesn't prove anything. Except that you're being an asshole. So again, this is your only warning. If you continue, you will be indefinitely hidden for the rest of this stream.
Agreed. But I was saying, there's a guy.
Sorry, timed out, not hidden.
Neocon Mint, who has stalked my pages for 3 years on every video dealing with mathematics that he gets wrong. I will delete his comments and I told him he's not welcome around my channel. Not because he disagrees with me on it, but it is I have spent hours upon hours and hours with an objective math denier and says you're not welcome around my videos, and he continues to make fake accounts. Yes, they will be that type of person will be gone. That makes sense? All right, good. All right.
Oh my God, no. Sorry, somebody just sent me a screenshot of what Baty's saying about Dick Dawson right now.
Well, I'm not gonna get into that.
You want to know?
Can we do it at the end? We can power through.
Sure.
All right. Kawasa 5000. I was a bit hesitant to watch this stream because I was afraid I'd be raging the whole day. Seems like that's going to be the case. Don't rage. We've got an out of our systems. This is not, again, if you want to rage, watch Dick Dawson rage. He had a very good rant on it, and I put the link in the video description that way. This is not about ranting. This is a point about pointing out behaviors so people can utilize this later on and recognize this type of behavior if he continues with it or other people ever do that in the future. That's all. Yes, Sisyphus, objective math deniers. They do exist. We've literally have ran into a group of people that deny actual mathematical facts. Yes. But anyways, this goes into about, I'm going to power through this, but I'm not going to read everything, but he's talking about Dave and his autism. What relevancy of that? He talks about, this is my thing to the community that I wrote. I'm not going to read it right now, but it's still out there. If you want to go to my video. I put this in the video and I put it on the Great Debate community, I believe, right? But this was my way of paying respects. I don't understand what the point of that was. Should I read this? You guys want me to read this? Or?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, sure.
Quote, as most of you likely already know, a member of the debunking community passed away very sadly during the holidays. Okay. David Fulton, better known as Booleanenator, passed away on December 26, 2020. It's been a very trying time for us all, as we not only reel from the events in the entire year, but now have to come to terms with losing somebody many of us knew quite well. Bull worked with myself this was actually, was this Dick Dawson that wrote this? This was the one I wrote. Who wrote this one?
It says EIE network, so it might be from all of them.
Yeah, I think this was Dick Dawson, because I wrote one too, but this, in one of my videos, this wasn't it. I couldn't see the reading there, but when I'm reading this, I was like, yeah, I didn't write this. It has been a very trying time for us all, as we not only reel from the events in the entire year, but now had to come to terms with losing somebody many of us knew quite well. Bull worked with myself in the IE network for a time, producing shows for us, and many of us became very good friends with him during that time. Everyone was shocked and saddened to hear that he had been lost. Unfortunately, this loss has gotten even worse. This is Global Mom, maybe she did this one. I don't know. A man named Robert Baty has taken upon himself to weaponize Bull's passing in an ongoing crusade he has against Steve McRae. For whatever reason, when Steve pisses people off, they just can't grow a pair and get over it. Understatement. They have to become weird, excessive, angry people, constantly gnashing their teeth at anyone within an eyesight. Robert is no exception. He crossed several lines before, but this is the final one. Robert has added an entire page to his website detailing his conspiracy theory that Booleanenator committed suicide, and Steve and the community are responsible for it. He is tweeting it all over the place in a desperate plea for attention, and I'm here today to tell him to stop. Here's what it comes down to. Robert, an obituary is a way of communication. It allows the family to relay the necessary details of a person's passing and withhold anything further, because anything further is straight up not your fucking business. If Booleanenator's family wanted to explain how he passed, they would have. They didn't, which means you have no right to start making grand conspiracy theories and weaponizing a loss of life. Robert, you did not know Bull. You did not have a personal connection with him. I did. I'm telling you now to stop. This is unacceptable behavior, and if you continue, you'll be held accountable. Below, I'll be linking a tweet that everybody should report abusive or harmful, disrespectful or offensive. Those are the categories. I would not advise reading the page on this site. It is truly hateful and nauseating to behold. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Rest in peace, Booleanenator. You are missed. I don't know who wrote that, but that is spot the fuck on. And I mean, what else do you need to say? I mean, that's how much better can you get than that? It's exactly right. You guys don't know who wrote this?
It kind of looked like a Dead Kennedy in Space's icon at the bottom of the black page at the right.
Yeah, you're maybe right. Maybe it is Dead Kennedy in Space. I could barely see that down here. You're right. It's very small on my screen. But you might be right.
Well, it's well written either way.
It is very well written, and it hits the point of if the family wanted him to know, they would have put it out there. He has no right to know anything. What an embarrassment to David. Again, now he's using the family. What an embarrassment to David Michael Fulton's family that McRae creeps must be getting this new and continuing effort to get Baty. Nobody's trying to get Baty. Nobody gives a fuck about you, dude. Nobody. The only reason we're pointing this out is because of the behavior that you're doing, people will point it out because it's unacceptable. In any category of measurement in society, what he's doing is completely unacceptable. That's why we're doing this. That's it. Nobody gives a fuck about him. Nobody's trying to get him. However, if he abuses people on Twitter, if he's using the death to harass people, yeah, I don't give a shit if people go after him. I don't. But I've never asked anybody to. I don't care. It's never been a thing about him. It's about what he says. If he is saying inappropriate things that are violations of TOS, you're damn right I would report him. I never have. I haven't blocked, even though you can report people that I've blocked. But that's not my goal to get Baty. My goal is to point out the shit that he has said and have you guys utilize that information to recognize it in the future and to hold him accountable. That's it. Not expectantly, Steve McRae checks in. I again, this is weird that they follow my Twitter like it's like their lifeline. You know, it's really bizarre.
What else do they have in life?
It's scary, dude. I don't know what the hell it is that I cultivated this amount of crazy around me. Oh, it gets, I'll give you a side note here. You guys remember my roommate that we evicted 3 years ago?
I remember.
He just wrote us another letter we got in the mail yesterday. It's 1 page, and he's talking about coming with a truck to pick up his stuff. That does not exist. All that stuff is gone. It's been gone for 3 years. We gave 90% of it away to Goodwill. There's a guy living in his room. He's a 380-pound bodybuilder. I don't think he wants to pay him a visit. A matter of fact, I'm starting to work out, and I asked if I can borrow his barbells because he had some in the garage he wasn't using. They're 50 motherfucking pounds. I have to use 2 hands to even try to do a rep. That's what he works on, 50-pound barbells. You guys ever try to curl a 50-pound barbell with one hand? Good luck with that. And yet he wants to go into this guy's room because he thinks his stuff is still there after 3 years. This is the type of psychopathy we deal with. These are legit dangerous fucking people because this guy will be by one of these days. He has before, and he has owned a firearm. So yes, I am legit concerned, and he at one time grabbed my throat and tried to choke me, and I took him down to the ground. So when I'm telling you
that some of the Guardians' new recruits are going around defending Get Baty and gaslighting people.
Oh, that's again that whole community scary as fuck. Scary as fuck. I'm for the Guardian Project because I think that's a really good project on the program. But the Guardians themselves, that little ad hoc group that's on Twitter, those motherfuckers are scary, cult-like Scientology type level people. It's scary. But yeah, of course they're going to support any. It doesn't matter about right or wrong with them. It'd matter of the enemy and my enemy is my friend kind of shit. And they'll use anything to try to go after people. But
like I said, I watched it happen, not in real time because I only found about it after the fact. They literally gaslit and bullied the Guardians into the Twitter Guardians into being like fuck Steve over nothing.
Oh yeah, but that's fine. But they were already like that. I mean, but that was fine because those people.
Right, they got taken advantage of, and they got taken for a ride for something that they clearly were not.
It didn't affect me though, because I was like, yeah, these people are nuts. I agree. I'm out of here.
They're taking on a responsibility, and they're biting off more than they can chew.
Yeah.
On Twitter specifically.
All right, so I say Robert Baty's the lowest form of fecal matter there is. And there's no words to describe how detestable he is, and now people know why, and I and others distanced ourselves from him ages ago. He's vile and disgusting sociopath. I stand by that. It's a problem. And then he says, David Michael Fulton spoke openly about having a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a neurologist, autism, epilepsy, and a VE disability, a service dog, and having to leave social media, which that didn't happen, leaving the impression that mental issues were a factor in that decision. And McRae creeps think there's something off in my suggestion that there may have been mental issues contributing to the unverified cause of death. Because there was never an indication of that. For God's sake.
Because, Baty, you didn't know shit about Boole and haven't bothered to actually learn anything about him.
We knew within 24 hours, or I think 48 hours, 48 hours, give or take, that it was natural causes. Maybe it was 72 hours.
And within 2 hours, we already had people trying to pull this kind of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just unreal. I don't recall the obituary mentioning the cause of death. They didn't put it out. Though someone in the family said it was natural causes. It was natural causes. That is an absolute fact. If so, what would that even mean to the man of 48 years of age? What does it matter? You're not privy to his fucking medical history. If it wasn't put out, it wasn't put out. Period. What the hell does this guy not understand about this? I'm literally trying to wrap my head around how somebody could be this fucking evil to think that he has such an entitlement to know the cause of death for somebody that he did not know or give a shit about. What am I missing here? Please, someone tell me. I, honest to God, want to fucking know what I am missing here. Because this is so beyond my comprehension to understand that somebody thinks that this is appropriate, that I have no words to describe other than what I wrote up here, that he is a form of fecal matter. That's it. That's the best I can come up with. And that's an insult to fecal matter.
I mean, I understand the mindset, kind of, but not. I mean, this is the way he's directing this mindset is absolutely horrifying.
I just don't, dude. I don't understand the mindset. I don't know how somebody in their life could be this fucking disgusting.
Aquila makes a point. So what if he did? You're still trying to insinuate that even if it was the case, your conclusion does still not follow.
No, I agree. That's right.
It would not be anybody's responsibility, and you trying to paint it as if it's Steve's or any of the community's fault is fucking disgusting.
Yeah, Volet's absolutely right on that. Yep, exactly. If it had been natural cause...
Hey, this guy's old. Do you think he's had friends that have probably died? Oh, no, that would involve having friends. Never mind, I take it back.
Yeah, I don't think these people...
Do you think he's ever heard of aneurysms or a stroke or anything like that? I mean, no, he has no imagination.
Dude, we have a friend, Trevor Val, who is a very well-known paleontologist. You can go look him up on Wiki. He made his medical history very public. He had a stroke. He had a legit stroke and had to go to the hospital because he had an aneurysm. And he's much younger. He's half my age, I think. You know, so I don't know what age has to fuck all to do with anything.
Yeah, he has no imagination to say, what does that mean as to a man of 48 years of age? He has no imagination to think that there's no possible explanation. That
my brother died at 50. 50!
I could go out and walk my dog and get hit by a car.
Yeah, but I don't consider that to be a natural cause, even though it's natural.
It could be sudden, and who knows? Maybe this guy, considering some of the conspiracy theories we heard people say about Steve trying to kill Kyle, well, maybe one of them tried to hire a driver to hit me. Like, what the?
No, maybe Steve had an RC controller.
I'm surprised they didn't put that out. Steve, how do they not come up? I come up with better conspiracies than they can. How do they not come up with Stephen Bull had a falling out about the Non-Sequitur show, and he sent a hitman in to go take out Bull.
Well, this is the mindset of people that I know that are like this. Like my sister's like this, and this is the way it usually goes. Is if that they don't have answers, all the answers that make sense to them about
entitled to.
Exactly. They just make shit up to fit whatever they want it to be.
Just like every other conspiracy theorist we know, Mr. Serious.
But see, there's just the worst part is that this is what Baty wants it to be.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. That's what makes him a sociopath, maybe even
that's
a
horrible.
psychopath.
That's so horrible. Because
he wants it to be. You're right.
That's what he wants it to be.
He wants this to be true. If it had been natural causes, I think it would have been more likely than not that such would have been mentioned in the obituary, further suggesting it was not natural causes. That doesn't even follow. And he says, we may never know. No, you may never know. I know. Cheshire knows. Manya knows. And a lot of people in the live chat knows.
I don't know nothing, obviously.
You know? But, again, he has no right to know a goddamn thing. It was natural causes. That is a fact.
This is color this maybe a little bit, you know, since we're all so profane, then maybe he's just an entitled old white man. And he's used to coming from a place of entitlement, and he's used to coming from a place with privilege where people would just bow to his whims and give him what he wants.
I don't think he's ever had that kind of power.
That's why he doesn't like the way women speak to him. Because he thinks he's entitled to some kind of respect or some kind of reverence because that's where he comes from. And as given his age, it would make sense that would be this where that entitlement would have come from. It would have grown up with it. And so, like, the world is changing, old man. I hate to inform you, but you're not entitled to shit.
Okay, boomer.
Nobody owes you a damn thing.
Aquila Violet says Steve drives people to weed, not suicide. That might be an argument for that. Yeah, okay. But anyways,
even if he doesn't use sexist language with women, he does start to use more condescending terms. I mean, he called Cheshire Girl a bunch. Girl.
Yeah, he's sexist.
Yeah, he's very sexist. Oh, yeah. But anyways, we are at the 2 hours mark. I want to end this at 2 hours. So
sorry. I'm gonna clarify for Smitty. No, I'm saying that that's the way this person is, not all old white men. Yeah. I'm saying this person in particular, to be clear.
All right, let's wrap this up. See what you got to say.
Steve, of course, I don't think all old white men are like
yeah, I'm as old white man as you can get. Okay, I'm like the definitive. You see old white man in dictionary, it shows a picture of me. I mean, I get it. I'm pretty inflexible in a lot of things.
Is he a Karen? Does he want to speak to the manager?
Yeah. Unlike me, he is actually a boomer. I'm a Gen X. But anyways,
I am the manager.
All right, so like I said, we got to wrap this up. I want to keep it on 2 hours. So, Mr. Sirius, you got anything you want to add?
Don't bother talking to Baty. It's not worth it. Cover his behavior. If you want, make videos, expose his behavior. This behavior is absolutely unconscionable. It should be exposed. It should not be tolerated.
I'm okay with that.
Talking to him personally is a waste of time.
Agreed. Totally agree with that. And by the way, I'm not against. I would be happy if people made videos about this. At least for a while. I mean, it shouldn't be something that's continued, but a couple days. If people find that they want to have a video on their channel to call attention to this, I'm okay with that. I know there's a few other bigger name channels that might want to. They have an interest in this, and they might call it out because they find this to be despicable. So, if you're one of those people, whether you're large or small, and you have a YouTube channel and you want to have a voice, this would be a cause to have a voice about. I think personally, this is just me. All right, Helios.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
We'll get to Jesh last. She's got more to say. Helios.
This whole situation is fucked to high hell. It's everything about what this guy has done is just purely disgusting. But if there is one silver lining about this is we finally have definitive proof that objective morality doesn't exist.
Well, I disagree. I think objective morality does exist, but I think that he is a case of a person who's objectively a piece of shit. Okay. Yeah. All right, Kawasa 5001. Even Puck thinks he's a piece of shit. Even Puck says that's dog for. That's dog for he's a piece of shit. Hashtag what about Bull? Rest in peace, buddy. Thank you, Kawasa. Yes. Look, it's going to take us a while to acclimate to this. It's going to take a while for us to process. None of us has completely have done it. I can tell you right now.
There's still logistic stuff that we have to sort out that we haven't started on.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not going to happen overnight, but we are pushing through because that's what Dave would have wanted. But for them to weaponize this, and all this can go away. All they need to do is get fucking David's names out of their mouth. That's it.
Just don't. Just stop.
I mean, that's it. Just stop. I mean, what the fuck is so incomprehensible about that? To not be a piece of shit. I mean, do people have to remind you, don't be a shitty fucking person? Is that the society that we're going to have going into 2021 of everything that's been going on? That people have to tell you, stop being a shitty fucking person? That's how low the bar has gone? Like, fuck, man. All right, Al, you got anything?
I don't even think there's a bar anymore.
Right? It's not even a bar. Ruble, you got something else? And then we'll get Cheshire.
I don't have much. I would have to agree with what Mr. Sirius said, and that he's below contempt, and I think he should be ignored.
I agree with Mr. Sirius. Again, I think he should be ignored directly. Like, nobody should ever engage with him. I think he should be blocked across the board. But again, to point out this
he can be memed. If you meme him,
yeah, meme
okay.
or is fine. But like I said, if people want to call out this kind of behavior and discuss it on their channels, I find that to be perfectly acceptable for a while. I don't have an issue with that. But do you. People do you. All right. Oh, man. Coffee's going right through me, so let's wrap this up. Cheshire, take us out. What do you got for us? That was great. I couldn't have said it better. Chesh.
No, yeah, hello.
Yeah, yeah. You kind of like went quiet there. What do you got to add?
Oh, sorry, I Puck was freaking out. He was very upset about the situation. Thoughts about this? What? Why? Like, what is your goal? What is the purpose of doing something like this? And like, what are the intentions? Because like, what possible positive intentions? What possible positive impact would you be attempting to have here? There's so much about this that just does not follow and does not make any sense. And most of what's being said is just so much of this is just factually incorrect. Like, factually not the case. And you would think, I mean, we know that these people, when they think they have something, they post screenshots and shit all over the place. And the distinct lack of screenshots that demonstrate anything that he's trying to say, I think speaks enough.
If anything, it shows the opposite.
Right.
Works against him.
Well, yeah, he definitely undermines his own point considerably. But I also think that there's a this is like a little bit of a plague. I think I said this before, like a long time ago, and if I remember correctly, Bull agreed with me. If you're going to deal with these people, and people that behave like this, because like we've said, this isn't the first time this has happened. It's like you have to make sure you have the Constitution for it. It is not for the light of heart. These are not people that are reasonable that you can have a conversation with. This guy's gonna, like, clearly is trying to turn this into some kind of debate. What are you talking? What debate? You're delusional. There's no debate about any of this. There's nothing to debate. Not only is that inappropriate, and like, it's January 5th. Like, what are you doing? And so, no, I don't encourage people to deal with this, because it's like a disease that will spread and infect your mind. And that's what they try to do. They try to drag you down. They try to infect your critical thinking skills and numb you and dumb you down via emotional garbage and conspiratorial garbage. And it's not healthy. It's not good for people or anyone. It's not even good for the people that are engaged in it. It's just hateful. And we've seen it before. We've seen it with a lot of people, particularly the group of people that none of us want anything to do with anymore. You see the exact same thing. And so if you're going to engage in this kind of thing, I recommend wearing all of the proper safety regulated gloves, mask, wash your hands. And also, I should point out real quick, there are many terms of service within, like, real ones, not false shit. I wouldn't tell you guys that to false flag anybody. There's no need for that. But there is I recommend reading the terms of service and seeing what the options are when you're actually reporting something. And keep in mind that you can report one tweet multiple times.
Can I point this out? Because there's a tweet from Baty to Dick Dawson about him wanting to debate on David dying of natural causes or not. And he says, hang on, Dick Dawson affirms, Robert Baty denies. Please, Dick Dawson, do not do this. I ask you as a friend,
I would like to point out that now Baty is making a claim that Bull did not die of natural causes.
I don't care. Yeah.
How in the flying fuck could you possibly know that, you disgusting, reprehensible piece of human fucking garbage? You are a garbage person.
Dick Dawson, please do not set it up. Do not do this. Do not debate on whether.
Oh, Baty's already running. He's already running away from it. So. Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm not going to be a part of having a debate on how my friend died. I'm sorry. Nobody is going to be doing that. I will block anybody who does that. I do not want that around me. That's just morbid, and it's just not right.
Toxic as fuck. Yeah.
It's just, please, Dick, do not do that. But do watch Dick Dawson's video. He has a really good rant on it. But Baty, you are one sick motherfucker, man. You need to get help. I don't say this
No
often either,
way.
but you need fucking Jesus or something, dude. Just full on, you need to come to a Christ moment or something, whatever helps you. Go get a 12-step program. Go get whatever you fucking need. Go get whatever mental health you need. But you need something because you are not right, dude. To debate on whether somebody died of natural causes or not. We're telling you straight up that it was the case, period. There is no discussion on that. There is no debate. There's no
And I
argument.
would have
Go fuck yourself.
No leg to stand on otherwise. On top of that, this is not appropriate. This is not.
It's so not appropriate.
There is no questionable things that have gone on with it at all. There's no reason to think otherwise is the thing. And your delusional, fabricated, diseased brain coming up with whatever the flying fuck because you're bored and you don't like that Steve left your Facebook group. You're just disgusting.
I think we all agree on that. And we're going to leave it at that. You are disgusting, dude. Good night.
Betty, you can't pretend you're the good guy until you stop dancing on Bull's grave.
He'll never be the good guy, dude. There's no redemption. Like I said, Jesus forgives. I don't.